Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 21 Anbu Infiltration. Jiraiya held the Thunder Flame Blade, refined the chakra in his body into Thunder attribute and injected it into the Thunder Flame Blade. The Thunder Flame Blade, which was originally as bright as snow, suddenly lit up with a deep blue light, and tiny bolts of lightning splashed out. Jiraiya then refined the chakra into fire attributes and injected it into it. Then, a thin layer of flowing flames appeared on the Thunder Fire Blade, like magma, emitting an astonishingly high temperature. Even if you don't master the ninjutsu that works with ninja tools, just injecting chakra can greatly increase the power of the lightning blade. It's really good. Jiraiya was extremely satisfied with today's sign in reward. Putting aside the Thunder Flame Blade, just obtaining the nature transformation of the Thunder attribute chakra is already a huge gain. From now on he will be able to practice lightning style. He had no idea where to get the fire style and lightning style that could be used with the Thunder Flame Blade. This matter can only be done slowly, there is no point in being anxious. Because ninjutsu of this level is not ordinary ninjutsu and is in the hands of major families. It was very difficult for him to get it. Jiraiya felt that if he signed in tomorrow, he would most likely be able to obtain this type of ninjutsu. Because the system he is bound to is extremely user-friendly. Jiraiya put away the Thunder Flame Blade, went to wash up, made himself a simple breakfast, and then walked into the training ground to start practicing. Jiraiya has already made a training plan for himself, which is to practice taijutsu in the morning and ninjutsu in the afternoon. Because he has a sage body, Jiraiya is able to withstand high-intensity training methods. 1080, 1081, 1082. Jiraiya did push-ups with one hand, sweating profusely as he fell to the ground. Although this level of training is very hard, Jiraiya likes this feeling very much. Because he can feel that he is getting stronger all the time, this feeling is really addictive. Soon a day passed, and after nightfall, Jiraiya was practicing Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique is the only A-rank ninjutsu that Jiraiya currently masters. Jiraiya naturally wanted to master it. After several days of practice, Jiraiya is now able to release 100 shurikens at once, and their power is 100 times stronger than before. Jiraiya was not satisfied because he wanted to practice this ninjutsu into a shuriken laser cannon. After all, he possesses a sage body and the chakra contained in his body is extremely terrifying. If he doesn't transform the Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique into the Shuriken Laser Cannon Technique, wouldn't it be a waste of the sage body? Just when Jiraiya was practicing hard, a dark shadow quietly approached Jiraiya's house. It was the Anbu member sent by Danzo to find out why Jiraiya became stronger. The ninja was now wearing a nightgown and was not wearing the rabbit mask. His strength is particularly Jonin. Special Jonin are slightly weaker than ordinary Jonin, but definitely several times stronger than Chunin. Because special Jonin almost all have a special skill, they can be named special Jonin before their strength reaches that of Jonin. There are some special Jonin who are more dangerous than ordinary Jonin. The rabbit-faced ninja is best at hiding, because his summoning beast is a black spider that is lying on his shoulder and is about the size of a palm. His summoning beast has very weak combat power, but it can absorb the unique aura emitted by the ninja, allowing him to hide better and not be sensed. This damn door. The rabbit-faced ninja saw the door of Jiraiya's house and couldn't help but complain, his face twitching violently. Although it was not the first time he saw this door, he would feel extremely uncomfortable every time he saw this door. Because he had obsessive-compulsive disorder, the door was full of misaligned wooden boards and gaps. If he wasn't afraid that Jiraiya would notice, he really wanted to smash the door with a slap. I don't know which idiot could have made a door like this. Tsunade, who was about to practice, sneezed. It must be that B******************* D Jiraiya who scolded me. I'll make him suffer tomorrow. Tsunade, who had just finished taking a bath, sneezed a few times as she walked into the bedroom, and couldn't help but clench her fists and said. Jiraiya, who was practicing hard, was caught in the crossfire for no reason. Practicing is really hard. Seeing Jiraiya still practicing hard at this time, Rabbit Mask couldn't help but admire him. Elder Danzo, you are so suspicious. Jiraiya became stronger because of his hard work. Why do you suspect that there is someone else helping him? The Rabbit Mask now has a lot of complaints about Danzo. It was because of Danzo's overthinking that he had to work overtime. He recently married a widow, who is at the age of being as vigorous as a wolf. If he keeps working overtime like this, he will most likely be green-hatted. The man with the rabbit mask took a deep breath and began to make seals with his hands quickly. His figure slowly merged into the darkness. If you didn't observe carefully, it would be extremely difficult to find that this was the ninjutsu he mastered, the night hidden technique. After getting ready, he jumped gently into Jiraiya's house. Hurry up and complete the task so that you can go back and pay your taxes. So as to avoid being cuckolded. If I really was cuckolded, I don't know if it would be considered a work injury. The rabbit-faced ninja couldn't help but think in his heart. In fact, he originally wanted to wait until Jiraiya finished his training before taking action. After all, Jiraiya would become extremely tired by then, and would be even less alert when he was asleep. But Jiraiya practiced very hard, almost always until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. He was also afraid that others would have to pay his taxes on his behalf, and his wife would accuse him of being a cuckold, so he couldn't help but take action in advance. Because Jiraiya was immersed in hard training, he definitely wouldn't notice the situation here. In addition, Konoha now has extremely good public security, so Jiraiya would never have thought that someone would sneak into his home. I heard that Jiraiya has collected a lot of limited edition pornographic comics. I can take a few away with me and explore them with my wife when I return home. The rabbit-faced mask sneaked into the house silently. Jiraiya, who was practicing, couldn't help but slow down his movements and revealed a sneer on his face. He didn't expect that the other party would lose his patience so quickly. Ever since he had shown an astonishing rate of increase in strength after defeating Aburame Ryoma, he knew that Danzo, who was suspicious by nature, would definitely send someone to spy on him. Jiraiya already knew that there were Anbu members monitoring him, but he didn't say anything, just letting the other party wait and see while he worked hard on his training. To dispel the doubts in Danzo's mind, as well as the doubts in Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind. His strength is growing too fast, and Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely become suspicious. This was something he hadn't expected, that Danzo or Sarutobi Hiruzen would actually send someone to sneak into his home. He absolutely could not tolerate this. After all, his house was filled with limited edition pornographic comics and collector's edition pornographic novels. These are extremely precious items. If the other party takes them away, he will suffer a great loss. Jiraiya walked out of the training ground, ready to teach the ninja who sneaked into his house a lesson. The reason why Jiraiya was able to discover the rabbit-faced ninja was entirely because he had just performed the wind-style ninja technique and happened to capture the movements of the rabbit-faced ninja. He had already learned this ninjutsu a few days ago, and he just performed it just to make himself more proficient, but he did not expect to get a pleasant surprise. Chapter 22, Really Studious. In fact, according to common sense, after the rabbit-masked ninja uses the night-hidden technique, the summoning beast will help to restrain his breath. The wind style, a perception-based ninjutsu that Jiraiya practices, cannot detect the rabbit-faced ninja. Because wind style is of a very low level, it can only be considered an entry-level perception-type ninjutsu. As long as the opponent's ninja is good at hiding chakra, it is almost impossible to sense it. The reason why Jiraiya can sense the rabbit-faced ninja now is that after his intensive training in the past few days, his sage body has developed a new ability, which is the ability to sense subtle changes in the surrounding chakra and enhance the power of sensing-type ninjutsu. The rabbit-faced ninja felt that his actions were extremely secretive. In fact, in Jiraiya's eyes, he was like a big light bulb in the dark, extremely dazzling. Wow, you have collected so many good things. FK, there is such a position. It's really eye-opening. I have to try it with my wife when I get home. The rabbit-faced ninja sneaked into the house and saw the comics and novels collected by Jiraiya. Looking at the hot covers, he couldn't help but picked up one and took a look. He was immediately shocked and felt like he had opened the door to a new world and learned a lot of new skills at once. Does it look good? If you really want to learn, you can call your wife over and I will show you in person so you can learn faster. When Jiraiya entered the room, he was startled to see the rabbit-faced ninja looking through his collection. Damn, this Anbu member has really poor self-control. In the future, when you go out on a mission and meet a beautiful ninja and she seduces you a little, won't you have to become a traitor directly? Jiraiya was extremely disappointed with the performance of this Anbu ninja. Just watch it, he was so fascinated that he didn't use any hiding ninjutsu and walked straight into the house. The other party didn't even notice him. Is that a bit too much? I underestimated him too much and thought that he would never discover my whereabouts. Just as Jiraiya thought, the rabbit-faced ninja didn't take Jiraiya seriously. Although Danzo said that Jiraiya's strength is increasing rapidly, his strength is only that of an elite chunin at best. He was good at hiding and didn't think Jiraiya could find him, so he was so bold. Hearing Jiraiya's voice, the rabbit-faced ninja shuddered involuntarily, and the comic book in his hand fell to the ground. He turned around and saw Jiraiya looking at him with a smile on his face and his eyes full of mockery. How did he find me? Was it because of the ninjutsu just now? The rabbit-faced ninja was now extremely surprised. In fact, when he sneaked in, he had already noticed that the courtyard was filled with wind attribute chakra. I also understand that this is wind-style ninjutsu. But he didn't take it to heart, because the ninjutsu he performed was able to avoid the detection of wind-style ninjutsu. The rabbit-faced ninja reacted quickly, although he didn't know why Jiraiya had discovered him. He immediately pulled out a smoke bomb from his waist and threw it to the ground with a bang. A large amount of white smoke rose up, filling the entire room and submerging his figure. Since we have been discovered by Jiraiya, the mission has failed and we have to retreat. He certainly couldn't conduct a forced search. If he attracted the Konoha patrol team, he would be in trouble. Danzo will definitely not come forward to protect him by then. Instead, they would skin him alive. After all, Danzo will only take the blame for third generation, not for them. Using the smoke as a cover, the rabbit-faced ninja easily used the body flicker technique to leave the room. You really treat my home as an amusement park, where you can come and go as you please. Jiraiya sneered and followed suit by performing the body flicker technique as well. Under his powerful perception, this ordinary smoke bomb was just like a decoration and could not cause any effect on him at all. So he could see every move of the rabbit-faced mask clearly. The reason why he did not choose to stop him inside the house was because he was afraid that after fighting with the rabbit-faced ninja, his house would be destroyed. He is not like Yamato, who has wood-style ninjutsu that can do landscaping and building houses. What a powerful perception ability. You can even lock onto me. You are worthy of being a disciple of the third generation. After the rabbit-faced ninja left Jiraiya's house, he noticed that Jiraiya had followed him instantly, and he couldn't help but admire him. If Jiraiya was able to find him at home, it is possible that some traps were set up at home and he was not aware of it and triggered it, exposing himself. But Jiraiya is able to spot him now, definitely relying on his perception ability. The rabbit-faced ninja had no intention of fighting Jiraiya, but fled out of the village. After Anbu members fail in their mission in the village, they will all flee outside the village because there are members outside the village to pick them up. Jiraiya did not use any ninjutsu to attack, and simply followed the rabbit-faced ninja out of Konoha village. They were all ninjas from Konoha village, so it wasn't difficult for them to avoid Konoha's patrols. Are you in such a hurry to go back and bring your wife so that I can show you the moves in the book? You are really studious. But let me make it clear in advance, if your wife is too ugly, I won't agree. After leaving the village, Jiraiya took out 2 ordinary shurikens and threw them at the rabbit-faced ninja, then sneered. The reason why he did not intercept the rabbit-faced ninja in the village was because he did not want to make a big deal out of it. He also wanted to fight with this Anbu ninja to see how strong he was. Once he started fighting in the village, it would definitely attract a large number of ninjas, and he would definitely not be able to test his own strength at that time. The rabbit-faced ninja jumped onto a tree, drew the samurai sword from behind him, turned around and slashed, easily knocking 2 shurikens away. He really didn't expect that Jiraiya would dare to chase him out of the village. Hearing Jiraiya's sarcastic words, he became furious and decided to teach Jiraiya a lesson. Anyway, he had left the village now and was not afraid of being discovered. You sharp-tongued brat, I'm going to make you kneel down and beg for mercy. The last time a chunin dared to talk to me like that, the grass on his grave was already half a meter high. The rabbit-faced ninja said angrily, then held the samurai sword, turned into a black shadow, and attacked Jiraiya. Bang! A sound like the collision of metal was heard, and a large number of sparks were splashed, which was very eye-catching in the dark night. Jiraiya easily blocked the katana's slash with his shuriken. The samurai swords used by the rabbit-faced ninjas are Anbu's standard ninja tools, all of which are made of ordinary metals, not special metals, and are at most a little sharper. Ordinary shurikens can still withstand the attack of this kind of samurai sword. The last time someone spoke to me in that tone, there's no grass growing on his grave now. Jiraiya jumped back and put some distance between himself and the rabbit-faced ninja. If it came to dirty talk, he was no match for anyone. Chapter 23 It's really too virtual. Do you also poison people's graves? The rabbit-faced ninja couldn't help but ask subconsciously. What a vicious method. People are dead, yet they are not allowed to rest in peace. No, 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 I just dug his grave, Jiraiya said, shaking his head. The rabbit-faced ninja's mouth twitched slightly. He didn't expect Jiraiya to be more ruthless than he imagined. He immediately said that he had learned something. Fire-style flame bomb. Jiraiya formed seals with his hands, and a large amount of fire attribute chakra condensed in his mouth. Then 5 fireballs emitting scorching high temperatures enveloped the rabbit-faced ninja. After many days of practice, Jiraiya is now able to spit out 5 fireballs at a time. This is the limit of fire-style flame bomb, but it is not the limit of Jiraiya. If it weren't for the fact that the fire-style flame bullet jutsu was too low level and had limited potential, Jiraiya would definitely be able to condense more fireballs. He has no intention of hiding his strength now, because he is bound to the system and his strength will definitely increase rapidly in the future. The more he hides himself, the more suspicion he will arouse. It would be better for him to show his strength openly and let everyone in Konoha village know that he is a genius. The most important thing is, if he hides his strength, how can he pretend to be cool? After all, showing off is a very enjoyable thing, and it's always enjoyable to keep showing off. If you can't show off your life, it will be meaningless. With Chunan's strength, it's amazing that he can release 5 fire bombs in a row, but this strength is not enough in front of me. You can expect to kneel down and beg for mercy. The rabbit-faced ninja also loved to show off. He made seals with his hands and suddenly disappeared from the spot. Boom boom. 5 fireballs fell to the ground with a roaring sound. 5 charred earth pits appeared on the earth. The soil around the pits was directly baked into glass. The rabbit-faced ninja disappeared from his sight. Jiraiya quickly formed hand seals again and blew violently at the surroundings. A large amount of wind attribute chakra floated out, condensed into thin threads, and spread out to the surroundings. From the brief fight, it can be seen that the rabbit-faced ninja is good at hiding and surprise attacks. If you want to defeat this type of ninja, it is not difficult to defeat it as long as you can lock onto its whereabouts. If you are unable to lock onto the opponent's trail, you can only passively take the beating and be worn down by the opponent. Uchiha Shisui is a well-known figure in the Hokage world. He earned his fame through fighting in 3 wars with his amazing body flicker technique. The rabbit-faced ninja in front of him was definitely no match for the instant sense Shisui. As the wind attribute chakra spread out in all directions, combined with the perception ability of the sage body, Jiraiya quickly discovered the trace of the rabbit-faced ninja. He didn't know when he was behind him, slashing at him diagonally with the samurai sword in both hands. Jiraiya didn't turn around, but swung back with the shuriken. Bang! The sound of metal collision was heard, and a large number of sparks were raised. Jiraiya did not use the thunder flame blade because using this level of ninja tool would be too bullying. Now Jiraiya wants to rely on the rabbit-faced ninja to hone his ninjutsu and enhance his practical experience. What a powerful perception ability! The rabbit-faced ninja was shocked, and after failing to hit him, he used the body flicker technique again, moved away from Jiraiya, hid in the dark, and looked for another opportunity to attack. Isn't this the wind-style ninjutsu? Feeling the wind attribute chakra all around him, the rabbit-faced ninja felt uncertain and confused. He still ignored it, thinking that this level of sensing skill would not be able to detect him. I thought Jiraiya had other means. But Jiraiya didn't use any other perception ninjutsu just now, but was still able to detect his trace. It should rely on the wind attribute chakra in the air. Wind-style great breakthrough. The rabbit-faced ninja formed seals with his hands and blew a gust of wind from his mouth, forming a sharp wind blade that cut towards the wind attribute chakra in the air. Suddenly, all the chakra wind nets that were spreading around were cut off. Wind-style wind net. Jiraiya was not in a hurry when his ninjutsu was broken, and he performed it again immediately. Anyway, the total amount of chakra contained in his body is huge, so if it comes to consumption, he is not afraid of anyone. Wind-style great breakthrough. The rabbit-faced ninja released his ninjutsu once again. Wind-style wind net. Wind-style great breakthrough. Jiraiya and the rabbit-faced ninja started to compete with each other, one releasing and the other breaking. After a few rounds, the rabbit-faced ninja could no longer hold on, sweat appeared on his forehead, and he became a little out of breath. Damn, is this the chakra a Chunin should have? This is too perverted. The rabbit-faced ninja felt that the surroundings were still full of wind attribute chakra, and couldn't help but curse in his heart. Who is the special Jonin? He has now given up on competing with Jiraiya. If he continues like this, he will really collapse. Then we will be at the mercy of Jiraiya. You're so weak that you passed away so soon. I'm really worried about your wife. After noticing the state of the rabbit-faced ninja, Jiraiya said loudly, and formed seals with his hands and threw 5 fireballs towards the hiding place of the rabbit-faced ninja. The rabbit-faced ninja wanted to speak up to fight back, but found himself powerless to do so, as his wife often complained about his short time. This is a pain that is difficult for middle-aged men to express. The rabbit-faced ninja used the body flicker technique to dodge the fire bomb attack, then rushed towards Jiraiya with a samurai sword in hand. Since he could no longer hide his whereabouts from Jiraiya, he could only choose to attack by force. Even if he couldn't hide, he was confident that he could defeat Jiraiya. After all, he is a special Jonin, a being many times more powerful than Chunin. Bang, bang. The sound of metal colliding continued to ring out, and a large number of sparks rose in the dark night. Jiraiya and the rabbit-faced ninja engaged in close combat. Although the speed of the rabbit-faced ninja is extremely fast, Jiraiya's hard training and possession of the sage body allow him to keep up with the speed of the rabbit-faced ninja. Wind style. The rabbit-faced ninja formed seals with his hands, and a layer of wind attribute chakra spread over the blade of the samurai sword. The ninjutsu he was performing now was not about injecting chakra into the katana, but about covering the katana with chakra to enhance the power of the katana. Earth-style earth flow wall. Jiraiya bent down and slapped the ground. A wall of earth instantly rose up in front of him, directly blocking the rabbit-faced ninja. Boom. With a loud bang, the earth wall was smashed into pieces by the rabbit-faced ninja, raising a large amount of dust. Taking advantage of his chance, Jiraiya jumped onto a tree and took out the shuriken given to him by the third Hokage and swung it at the rabbit-faced ninja. After the fight, Jiraiya had a clear understanding of his own strength, and it was time to end the battle. Chapter 24 I'm Too Kind. After breaking the earth flow wall, the rabbit-faced ninja saw a shuriken coming towards him. Boy, you are performing ninjutsu. The rabbit-faced ninja yelled. He now believed that Jiraiya used shuriken to attack instead of ninjutsu because he had little chakra left in his body. After all, any offensive ninjutsu is more powerful than a shuriken. This is the first time I've heard of a request like this. I'll satisfy you, shuriken shadow clone technique. Jiraiya quickly formed seals with his hands, and the shurikens in the middle of the attack suddenly transformed into more than 100. Jiraiya had murderous intentions at this moment. Although he had guessed that the attacker was an Anbu member, the other party did not show it. Even if he killed him, the Konoha high-ups would not be able to hold him accountable. The reason why he wanted to kill was to express his attitude to Danzo that if he wanted to target him, he would have to pay a price. The rabbit-faced ninja was about to throw the shuriken away when he saw the shuriken suddenly split into hundreds, and his pupils couldn't help but reveal fear. 100. How is that possible? As a member of Anbu, he naturally knew about shuriken shadow clone technique. It is a powerful ninjutsu developed by the third Hokage. It is also known that the third Hokage passed this jutsu to his 3 apprentices. And also know that Jiraiya learns at an amazing speed. But he didn't know that Jiraiya was already able to differentiate into 100. He had been monitoring Jiraiya. Jiraiya was performing the shuriken shadow clone technique in the training ground. The most he could throw at a time was only 5, and it was extremely unstable and sometimes failed. Danzo didn't send anyone to monitor Jiraiya in turn. Only the rabbit-faced ninja was sent. Whenever Jiraiya was sleeping, he would leave and rest. After the rabbit-faced ninja leaves, Jiraiya will get up and practice new ninjutsu as well as shuriken and shadow clone technique. After all, he didn't want to expose all his methods under Anbu's nose, so he had to master some other ninjutsu. Because it is very dangerous for a ninja to reveal all his methods to others. Once the enemy knows the ninja's methods in advance, it will be easy to be targeted. In the Hokage world, many ninjas died unjustly due to information leaks. This is why every major ninja village in the Hokage world has a department dedicated to collecting intelligence. Just like in the original work, Jiraiya died in the battle against Pain. If he knew about Pain's various abilities in advance, he would definitely not have died. All Anbu members knew that he had learned the shuriken shadow clone ninjutsu, so he didn't need to hide it now. Wind dance. The rabbit-faced ninja also reacted very quickly. After seeing that he could not dodge, he quickly formed hand seals and quickly turned the samurai sword in his hand. Wind blades slashed around as he turned. Bang, bang. Intensive explosions were heard, and when wind blades and shurikens collided, a large number of shurikens turned into smoke and dissipated. The power of the Fengwu ninjutsu is quite good. In just a moment, almost all the shuriken shadow clones were shattered and turned into smoke and disappeared. Ah! Suddenly a scream was heard, and the rabbit-faced ninja was hit in the shoulders, thighs, abdomen and other parts by several shurikens. Although he chopped off a large number of shuriken shadow clone, a few of them still hit his body due to the large number of them. The rabbit-faced ninja was seriously injured. He didn't expect Jiraiya to be so powerful. He endured the severe pain in his body and used the body flicker technique to escape into the woods in the distance. The Anbu member responsible for the response is in the woods. He could also sense that Jiraiya had murderous intentions towards him. If he didn't run fast enough, he might really die here. I thought it was a good job to sneak away with a few limited edition comics, but I didn't expect it to be a fatal job. The rabbit-faced ninja felt bitter and took out many healing pills and rubbed them on his chest. Jiraiya used chakra to pull back the shuriken, and shook his head, thinking with some regret, it's still because I haven't practiced enough. The chakra contained in the shuriken clone is still too little, and it hasn't reached the limit. Otherwise, it would have pierced his body directly just now. If he wants to unleash the full power of shuriken shadow clone technique, this ninjutsu, he still needs to practice more. Jiraiya then chased after the fleeing rabbit-faced ninja. Jiraiya had no idea what level of strength the rabbit-faced ninja possessed, but it was definitely beyond Chunin. Because the power of the ninjutsu he just performed was also extremely strong. If he knew in advance that Jiraiya could separate into 100 shurikens and use this ninjutsu, he would most likely be able to block it without any harm. So based on this alone, the rabbit-faced ninja must be at least a special Jonin level. Just when Jiraiya was about to catch up with the rabbit-faced ninja, he suddenly sensed that 3 powerful auras were coming towards him. Jiraiya's pace slowed down involuntarily. Because after he sensed the 3 powerful auras, the rabbit-faced ninja's speed suddenly slowed down. The rabbit-faced ninja was running very fast just now, but now he suddenly slowed down. It was definitely not because his injury got worse. It was definitely because the owners of those 3 powerful auras were in cahoots with him. The rabbit-faced ninja thought that he was safe now and didn't need to run away desperately. Those 3 auras were exactly the Anbu members. The original rendezvous point was not here, but they rushed here after hearing the sounds of fighting. It should be the Anbu members coming to pick them up. Jiraiya frowned. All 3 auras were stronger than the rabbit-faced ninja. It was obviously unrealistic for him to kill the rabbit-faced ninja with these 3 people. If he used forceful action, he might even get taught a lesson. Although he was the apprentice of the 3rd Hokage, the other party did not dare to harm his life, but the Anbu members still dared to beat him up. It's not easy for Konoha to train a special Jonin, so let's just spare his life for now. Jiraiya looked at the rabbit-faced ninja's back and then turned and left. He definitely didn't leave because he was afraid of the 3 Anbu members who came over. I just think that the resources spent by Konoha to train a special Jonin are extremely huge. If he kills it, the top leaders of Konoha will be heartbroken again. He is a kind person, how could he do such a thing? 17. Why are you injured like this? The Anbu member who came to support saw that the rabbit-faced ninja was seriously injured and couldn't help but frown and asked. They also knew the mission that the rabbit-faced ninja was carrying out, which was to go to a Chunin's house to collect information, and it was within the village, so there was almost no danger. Chapter 25 Hospitality. The Anbu members who came to support him were very surprised to see the rabbit-faced ninja badly injured. I was careless for a moment, so I got hurt like this. The rabbit-faced ninja said while covering the wound on his abdomen. This wound was the most fatal. If the shuriken had been a little more powerful, he would have really died. The reason he gave was very vague. After all, he really couldn't say it after being beaten like this by a Chunin. Mission failed. The Anbu member wearing a fox mask asked. The rabbit-faced ninja nodded weakly. Did you get the limited edition comic? Asked the ninja wearing a monkey face mask. Jiraiya is the most famous collector of limited edition pornographic comics, and he has many limited editions from famous authors. They are all very curious. There are still many big perverts in the Hokage world. Kakashi is a typical example, holding a piece of heaven in his hands all day long. Naruto also took advantage of Kakashi's love of watching intimate scenes and successfully snatched the bell from Kakashi's hand. You can't keep it all to yourself. The tiger-masked ninja stressed. FKU. Listening to his teammates' questions, the rabbit-faced ninja almost vomited blood. Can't you see the holes in my body? Can't you see the blood flowing out of his body? Shouldn't we quickly find him a medical ninja or send him to a ninja hospital? The rabbit-faced ninja was now filled with grief. If he had not been seriously injured, he would have killed them with his knife. Three big brothers, can you please call a medical ninja for me first? I can't hold on any longer. The rabbit-faced ninja said extremely weakly. Don't worry, we will never let you die if you don't hand over the comics to us. The tiger-faced ninja said, before picking up the rabbit-faced ninja and heading back towards Konoha village. The rabbit-faced ninja was hurt again. Don't you think of me as a teammate? Are there only limited pornographic comics? He didn't dare to say this because he was afraid that after he said it, the other party would nod quickly, which would make him even more embarrassed. With such a group of unreliable teammates, he now doubted that he might not be able to make it to the ninja medical hospital. Life is really hard when you meet teammates like this, and the rabbit-faced ninja burst into tears. Don't worry, we will leave one copy for you. They won't be sold out. Don't be so sad. The tiger-faced ninja wiped the tears from the rabbit-faced ninja's eyes and spoke softly. Youth must never be wasted. Jiraiya had just returned to the village and happened to see Might Dai running while doing a handstand. Jiraiya hesitated for a moment and then walked away, because he was afraid that talking to Might would make his blood boil again. After all, it's already late at night, and Might Dai should rest. Jiraiya-kun, it's so late and you haven't rested yet. Jiraiya was about to go around him, but unexpectedly Might Dai spotted him and greeted him. Jiraiya slowed down his pace. Since he had been discovered by Might Dai, he naturally didn't need to dodge anymore. He smiled and greeted him, Dai-san, you are still practicing so late. Don't forget me when I asked you to come to my house for dinner last time. Jiraiya-kun, you invited me to dinner, how could I forget? But I don't think I'm worthy of having dinner with you right now. I'll go to the appointment when I become stronger. Might Dai is very inferior in his heart due to his low strength, especially when facing Jiraiya, the apprentice of the Hokage. The inner pressure is even greater. Dai-san, we are friends, you don't need to be so restrained, you are welcome to visit my home anytime. Jiraiya said with a smile on his face. Might nodded heavily. Dai-san, I have just finished my training and am going back to rest. You should also go to bed early. Jiraiya said. Jiraiya-kun is the apprentice of the Hokage and is still practicing so hard. How can I be lazy? I must run around the village hundreds of times standing upside down today. I must not waste my youth. Might Dai was greatly stimulated and ran to practice again with his blood boiling. I wish the Boruto story was half as exciting as Dai-san's. Jiraiya complained in his heart and then returned home. My strength is far beyond Chunin. Unless something unexpected happens, Chunin will not be my opponent. I just don't know what level 1 belonged to among the Jonin. Jiraiya whispered while soaking in the bathtub. In the Hokage world, the strength of a ninja is affected by many factors, and even the same Jonin can have very different strengths. There are many powerful Jonin who can defeat ordinary Jonin in just a few moves. Some Jonin had to spend a lot of effort to deal with Chunin. I'm really looking forward to learning something new tomorrow. Tomorrow was the day that Sarutobi Hiruzen would instruct them in their training, so after taking a bath, Jiraiya went to rest. He failed this mission and was seriously injured. He is such a loser. Inside a ward at the Konoha Shinobi Medical Hospital. Shimura Danzo scolded angrily as he looked at the rabbit-faced ninja lying on the hospital bed. Elder Danzo, I failed to perform my duties and am willing to be punished. The rabbit-faced ninja said respectfully as he knelt on the ground. His injuries have now been treated by the medical ninja. There is no danger to life. Tell me why it failed. Shimura Danzo asked in a deep voice. Elder Danzo, the reason why I failed in this mission is entirely because Jiraiya is too evil. He used the wind-style ninjutsu to see through my hiding technique. The rabbit-faced ninja said with a sad face. He was really devastated. The ninjutsu he practiced is the night hidden technique. It took him 5 years of practice to learn this skill, which enabled him to avoid detection by many sensory ninjutsu. It was with this jutsu that he became a special Jonin and thus entered the Anbu. It can even be said that he reached the pinnacle of his life with this ninjutsu, and even married a beautiful widow. However, this ninjutsu that he was proud of was cracked by an extremely low-level perception type ninjutsu. Don't mention how depressed I was. That's quite interesting. Could it be that he possesses a special bloodline that can enhance the power of various ninjutsu? Shimura Danzo's single eye revealed a frightening light. After all, the fire-style flame bomb is incredibly powerful in Jiraiya's hands. Combined with the description of the rabbit-faced ninja, Danzo made such a conclusion. Elder Danzo, from what I understand, Jiraiya's parents and family do not have any special blood, unless his mother betrayed his father. The rabbit-faced ninja answered. I have met Jiraiya's mother. She is an excellent ninja and would never do such a thing. Don't think that everyone is as warm and hospitable as your wife. Danzo said with a dark face. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 26 Not worth mentioning. 17. You should take good care of your wife and stop letting her be so hospitable. Whenever you go on a mission, your wife will invite some Anbu members to her home. They all walk into Anbu holding onto the wall, which has a great impact on Anbu. Shimura Danzo scolded. The rabbit-faced ninja suddenly felt a green glow on his head, which seemed to be emitting a bright green light. The rabbit-faced ninja nearly cried out loud. Damn it, do you think I want my wife to be like this? This situation happened because you asked me to carry out missions at night every day, causing my lovely wife to stay alone in the empty room every night. After you recover from your injuries, continue to monitor Jiraiya and report Jiraiya's training status every 2 days. Shimura Danzo ordered the rabbit-faced ninja. He now believed that it was very likely that Jiraiya had some special bloodline. Although his mother, father and tribe members have never shown any special bloodline, it is very likely because they have not awakened. Just like the Uchiha clan's Sharingan, not every member of the clan can open it, and it requires external stimulation. Now it is very likely that Jiraiya has awakened the special bloodline in his body due to some coincidence. Hiruzen, you have a very sharp eye. Danzo snorted inwardly. Elder, I'm already in such a bad state after being injured. Can you give me a long vacation so that I can spend some time with my wife? The rabbit-faced ninja pleaded. 17. I advise you not to take a vacation. With your current health, if you take a vacation at home, your wife will easily torment you. Yes, 17, your wife is so powerful that you can't handle it even if she's not injured, let alone after she's injured. I'm much stronger than you. Every time I visit your house, I have to lean on the wall to go to work the next day. Some of the Anbu members following behind Danzo spoke up. They didn't want to give the rabbit-faced ninja a vacation. If the rabbit-faced ninja was on vacation, how could they provide warmth to the rabbit-faced ninja's wife? You. The rabbit-faced ninja nearly fainted from anger. He was unable to speak and his body was shaking with anger. I know you're very happy that we're secretly taking care of your wife, but there's no need to be so excited. System sign in. Early in the morning, after Jiraiya washed up and had breakfast, he muttered to himself. Ding dong, sign in successfully, get reward B rank ninjutsu fire style flame tiger. The system prompt sounded immediately. Please give us more details about this ninjutsu. Jiraiya had never heard of this jutsu, and didn't know whether it was created by the system or existed in the Hokage world. After all, there are so many different ninjutsu in the Hokage world, and it is impossible for him to have heard of every ninjutsu. Jiraiya was also very satisfied with today's sign-in reward. Because B-level ninjutsu is already considered a very advanced ninjutsu. You should know that some small ninja villages don't even have B-level ninjutsu. This ninjutsu must be used in conjunction with ninja tools. It can transform the ninja tools into tigers burning with flames to attack the enemy, and emit a roaring sound to attack the enemy with sonic waves. The system explained. Sure enough, the system he bound to was extremely user-friendly. This ninjutsu can be used in conjunction with the Thunder Flame Blade. The Thunder Flame Blade can also enhance the power of fire attribute ninjutsu. And the increase is extremely strong. In this way, the power of fire-style Flame Tiger is almost comparable to A-level ninjutsu. Master, are you going to extract the fire-style Flame Tiger ninjutsu now? After extraction, the master will be able to fully master fire-style Flame Tiger without having to study it deliberately. Extract. Jiraiya spoke up. According to the system, as long as he has extracted it, the power of the fire-style Flame Tiger he displays will reach its maximum, and he will no longer need to practice hard. It's a really user-friendly system. If the system had a physical body, Jiraiya would want to go out and kidnap a fat girl as a reward to the system. I believe the system will be moved to tears by then. Ding dong, Fire-style flame tiger extraction successful. The system prompt sounded immediately afterwards. Jiraiya felt a surge of information in his mind. It is an extremely detailed description of how to perform fire-style Yanhu. After signing in, Jiraiya headed towards the training grounds behind the Hokage's office building. Today was the day they gathered together again and Sarutobi Hiruzen taught them something. Youth must not be let down. Keep roaring, youth. When they were almost at the Hokage building, Jiraiya saw Might Guy still running upside down. You really work hard. If it weren't for your limited qualifications, you wouldn't have died so early. Looking at Might who was training hard, Jiraiya sighed. The Hokage world is actually a very realistic world, where bloodline and ancestors are the key. As long as you have good bloodline, you are destined to become a strong person. It's like Might used his life to open 8 gate, but only killed 4 of the 7 ninja swordsmen and let 3 escape. But his son, Might Guy, can kick 6 paths Madara with 8 gate. If Might Guy opens 8 gate to kick the 7 ninja swordsmen, no one will be able to escape and they will all be kicked to pieces. This is the difference in qualifications. In the Hokage world, very few civilian ninjas can become masters. Jiraiya didn't go up to say hello, but went straight to the training ground. When he arrived at the training ground, he found Orochimaru and Tsunade already there. Jiraiya, you're here so late, did you oversleep last night while peeping into the women's bathhouse? Tsunade couldn't help but make a sarcastic remark when she saw Jiraiya. It has become a habit for Tsunade to insult Jiraiya. In the original Hokage, if Kodanto hadn't shown up unexpectedly, Jiraiya and Tsunade would have had a great chance of being together. Of course, some people speculate that Kodanto was deliberately placed by Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo next to Tsunade. They were just afraid that Tsunade and Jiraiya would get too close and affect their dominance. He then deliberately killed Kodanto, causing Tsunade to suffer from hemophobia, forcing him to leave Konoha and completely destroying the Senju clan. Tsunade, please don't be so prejudiced against me. I have basically seen all the women's baths in the village, big and small. If no new bathhouses appear, I won't go to peek. Jiraiya retorted. Jiraiya, how many shurikens can you differentiate now? Orochimaru didn't want to listen to Jiraiya and Tsunade bickering about such nonsense, so he changed the subject. My progress is so small that it's not worth mentioning. Jiraiya said very modestly. How much exactly is that? Orochimaru continued to ask. Now that he had mastered this jutsu, he wanted to see how big the gap between him and Jiraiya was. Chapter 27 Genius can withstand doubt. More than 300. Seeing how curious Orochimaru was, Jiraiya finally spoke up. The reason why he didn't want to say it just now was because he was afraid of hurting Orochimaru and Tsunade. Quote, quote. Quote, quote. Tsunade and Orochimaru's eyes widened and their mouths dropped open. They really wanted to beat up Jiraiya now. Damn, being able to divide the shurikens into 300 pieces is already pretty impressive, okay. He actually said that the progress was so small that it was not worth mentioning. It's just a bit too much. Listen, is this human language? Seeing the expressions of Tsunade and Orochimaru, Jiraiya couldn't help but shake his head. I didn't want to discourage you, it's just that you are so curious. But then again, it feels really good to be a genius. Orochimaru, how many can you spare now? Jiraiya asked back. I can spare 50. Orochimaru whispered as he came back to his senses. He originally thought he was very powerful. I didn't expect that the clown was actually himself. 50 is pretty good. Jiraiya sincerely praised that Orochimaru's progress was really great. Just a little inferior compared to him. Compared with others, he is definitely a top genius. Tsunade, what about you? Jiraiya asked while looking at Tsunade with a smile on his face. None of your business. Tsunade turned her head to the side and snorted. Tsunade, if you didn't learn it, just say you didn't learn it. There's nothing shameful about that. After all, the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique is an A-rank ninjutsu, and it takes a lot of time to learn it. Orochimaru said soothingly to Tsunade. Tsunade immediately clenched his fist and threw a powerful punch, knocking Orochimaru away once again. Tsunade, why did you hit me again? How did I offend you? Is it wrong to comfort you? Orochimaru said in confusion and grievance. I think there is nothing wrong with what I just said. He was trying to persuade Tsunade with good intentions. After all, both he and Jiraiya have already learned this jutsu. Who uses you for comfort? Tsunade yelled. She deliberately didn't want to say anything, but Orochimaru said it all. Doesn't she have any dignity? Women are truly horrible creatures. We must stay away from them from now on. Seeing the furious Tsunade, Orochimaru took a step back, thinking to himself. Jiraiya, you said you could separate 300 pieces. Are you bragging? Tsunade said to Jiraiya again. She couldn't even separate one now. She really couldn't accept that Jiraiya was so much better than her. True genius can withstand doubt. Jiraiya smiled at Tsunade and threw the specially made shuriken towards the woods in front. He quickly formed seals with his hands, and a series of explosions were heard. Hundreds of shurikens suddenly appeared and shot into the woods. A large number of trees fell to the ground. That's amazing. Tsunade spoke subconsciously, she was really convinced this time. I have a little respect for Jiraiya. Looking at Tsunade's eyes, Jiraiya was extremely satisfied. Women all worship strong men. As long as he gets stronger, it won't take long for him to defeat Tsunade. He now hoped that Sarutobi Hiruzen would send him and Tsunade out on a mission. Let them play together sweetly to enhance their relationship. Now they are all Chunin, and are able to go out of the village to carry out missions. It won't be long before Sarutobi Hiruzen sends them out on a mission. Jiraiya, how exactly do you train? Orochimaru asked while looking at Jiraiya. Orochimaru knew very well how difficult it was to practice the shuriken shadow clone technique. Ever since he learned about the practice method, he has been working very hard and has not slacked off at all, but now he can only release 50 of them. And now Jiraiya is able to release so much, the difference compared to him is simply huge. I don't have any skills, I just rely on hard work. If you insist on saying that I have a skill, it's only because I'm a genius. This is the greatest skill. Jiraiya replied. Jiraiya, don't be complacent with your small achievements. You still have a long way to go in the future. Just then, Sarutobi Hiruzen came to the training ground using the body flicker technique and said to Jiraiya with a smile. He was fully aware of Jiraiya's recent performance and yesterday's defeat of the rabbit-faced ninja. The more he looked at Jiraiya, the more he liked him. He is very powerful, but he is a civilian ninja without a powerful family. If he is trained in the future, he will definitely be able to become his right-hand man. I need to take some time to explain the will of fire to Jiraiya and let him inherit it. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought to himself. He has now decided to brainwash Jiraiya. The will of fire was proposed by the first Hokage and gradually perfected by the second Hokage. He died in a battle before he could fully perfect the will of fire. In the end, Sarutobi Hiruzen made a thorough summary, that is to say, the will of fire inherited by Konoha village now can also be said to be the will of fire of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The most important point of the will of fire is that the older generation burns their lives to protect the next generation and pass on the future to the next generation. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted slogans loudly, he often said, "Where the leaves fly, the fire will continue to burn. The flames will continue to illuminate the village and allow new leaves to sprout." But it keeps doing the opposite. During the 3 wars with Hokage, he always sent young ninjas to the front lines and did not take any action himself. When Obito led the Nine Tails to attack Konoha village, he also retreated behind the scenes and did not take any action. Let Namikaze Minato deal with Obito alone. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength had seriously declined at that time, he could have come out to help Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato certainly didn't need to sacrifice his life to seal Nine Tails. The most important reason is that as he gets older, it becomes increasingly difficult for him to control Namikaze Minato, so he wants to take this opportunity to get rid of Namikaze Minato and regain power. When Sarutobi Hiruzen abdicated to Namikaze Minato, he took the position of assistant Hokage and lived in the Hokage building on the grounds that Namikaze Minato was too young and inexperienced. It is obvious what the intention is. It can be said that Sarutobi Hiruzen's true will of fire is to allow the younger generation of ninjas to illuminate him. Of course, at this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen is not yet stupid and selfish. The longer people stay in positions of power, the easier it is for them to lose their original intentions. Teacher. When they saw Sarutobi Hiruzen, Jiraiya and the other 3 greeted them. Orochimaru, Jiraiya, you have done a great job. As for Tsunade, you still have to work hard on your training. After all, we can only rely on you to protect the village in the future. You must not neglect your training. There is a turmoil on the border now, and the village may face war again. Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke seriously. Chapter 28 Combat Skills. You must hurry up and improve your strength. If there are enemies who really want to destroy this hard-earned peace, you will have the strength to protect it. I believe you don't want to see the village destroyed by war and your companions killed by the enemy. Sarutobi Hiruzen said righteously. Teacher, I will practice hard and I will never let this happen. Tsunade responded loudly, looking extremely excited. Even Orochimaru felt his blood boiling and nodded heavily. Only Jiraiya felt nothing in his heart, and even wanted to laugh. Sarutobi Hiruzen began to brainwash him again, but he also pretended to be extremely passionate. Teacher, if there is a war that threatens the village, I will protect the village even at the cost of my life. No matter how powerful the enemy is, I will not retreat a single step until the last drop of blood is shed. If the enemy wants to destroy the village, they have to walk over my dead body. Jiraiya spoke with great excitement and passion, which was very contagious, and he wished he could burn his life for the village right now. I didn't expect Jiraiya to be such a responsible person and to take the village so seriously. These passionate words made Tsunade change his opinion of Jiraiya. She originally thought that Jiraiya was a man without any sense of responsibility. It seems she was wrong. Konoha village was founded by her grandfather, Senju Hashirama. Protecting the village is also Tsunade's biggest goal in training. As for her later departure from Konoha village, it was only because she was heartbroken by the village's top leaders that she chose to leave. Me too. Orochimaru saw Jiraiya say so many exciting words. He was now a man of blood and wanted to say a few words as well. However, he found that he had no knowledge and could not come up with such fancy words. He hesitated and spoke. Now Orochimaru has not experienced the cruel war, his heart has not turned dark, and he has deep feelings for Konoha. With you guys in Konoha's future, it will surely become more prosperous. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with great satisfaction. Such a high level of political awareness, what a good seedling. It would be great if all new generation ninjas could have such a high level of awareness. Sarutobi Hiruzen was quite satisfied with Jiraiya's words. Teacher, you said there is trouble on the border again. Where exactly is it? Orochimaru asked curiously. It's the border with the Rain country. Sarutobi Hiruzen replied. Jiraiya's eyes moved slightly. World War II was when the big countries had slow economic development, and they wanted to solve this problem by annexing the territories of small countries by force. Among them, the Rain Kingdom, sandwiched between the Fire Kingdom, the Wind Kingdom and the Earth Kingdom, was naturally the first to be targeted. The reason why World War II broke out was that the three major powers launched a war because they were dissatisfied with each other's division of the territory of the Rain country. There is already unrest on the border, and it looks like World War II will break out soon. Jiraiya felt some urgency. After all, they were definitely going to the battlefield. During World War II, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo, Homura, Udatane Kaharu and other high-ranking officials of Konoha did not go to the battlefield, and the army relied entirely on the younger generation. Today I will not teach you any new ninjutsu. Today I will teach you some practical techniques for fighting. You must remember all the techniques I teach you today. In future battles, they will most likely save your lives. Sarutobi Hiruzen said as he blew out a puff of smoke. Now the daimyo of the Land of Fire is bent on outward expansion and has expressed his goal to him, which is to invade the Land of Rain, and Danzo and the others have agreed. It won't be long before a war breaks out. So now he wants to teach Jiraiya and the others some more ways to save their lives. Because Jiraiya and the others can help him consolidate his power in the future. We must not let them die easily in the war. Sarutobi Hiruzen taught them techniques to deal with the enemy, which would enhance their strength more than teaching them ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen was once the second Hokage's personal bodyguard. He went through many wars with the second Hokage and mastered a wealth of combat skills. What tactics to use in what situation, how to find the enemy's weaknesses, and how to escape if you can't defeat the enemy, these are all valuable combat experiences. It can really save lives at critical moments. If no one tells them these things, they can only go to the battlefield themselves and experience and draw conclusions with their own lives. All three of you, attack me now. When you attack, I will point out your shortcomings. Don't be afraid of hurting me. With your current strength, you can't hurt me at all. Sarutobi Hiruzen ordered Jiraiya and the others. Ninjutsu, Tongue Snake. Orochimaru was the first to form a seal and launch an attack. His scarlet tongue turned into a long black snake and bit towards Hiruzen at an extremely fast speed. This ninjutsu is also Orochimaru's signature ninjutsu. Not only can it attack the enemy, but it can also trap the enemy, suck the enemy's blood, and inject toxins into the enemy's body. These are Orochimaru's family's secret techniques. As he mastered such fancy ninjutsu, it seems normal for Orochimaru to turn evil in the later period. Orochimaru, this jutsu is not suitable for attacking the enemy head-on, it is only suitable for sneak attacks. Sarutobi Hiruzen tilted his body slightly and dodged the black snake's attack. He reached out and grabbed the snake's head. Then he turned around suddenly, grabbed the black snake and threw Orochimaru out. Nervous system rupture. Just then Tsunade rushed directly towards Sarutobi Hiruzen, her body now covered with a layer of wind attribute chakra. This will not only increase her strength, but also increase her speed. Tsunade, your jutsu is so fast, why do you rush straight into it? You can circle around the enemy a few times to put psychological pressure on him, and then find an opportunity to attack. This way, the chances of hitting the enemy will be greatly increased. If you just charge at me now, the enemy will be able to block you easily. Sarutobi Hiruzen pointed out the flaw and suddenly raised his right foot and kicked forward. Bang! With a dull thud, Tsunade was kicked out and fell to the ground in the distance. Since he wants to teach Jiraiya the fighting techniques, Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely not go too easy on him. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. When Jiraiya saw Orochimaru and Tsunade being knocked away, he instantly made up his mind that he must not fight Sarutobi Hiruzen at close range or have any substantial contact with Sarutobi Hiruzen, otherwise he would definitely be knocked away. Sarutobi Hiruzen's battle awareness is just too strong. A large number of shurikens made a sound of breaking through the air and enveloped Sarutobi Hiruzen. Chapter 29 Practical Exercise. This ninjutsu has no shortcomings. It is very suitable for both strong attacks and sneak attacks, as well as for stopping the enemy's pursuit during retreat. Sarutobi Hiruzen praised, then used the body flicker technique to disappear from the spot. A large number of shurikens were shot onto the ground, but none of them hurt Sarutobi Hiruzen. FK, I'm speechless. Jiraiya complained in his heart as he listened to Sarutobi Hiruzen's words. Is this a compliment to him, or a disguised way of praising myself? Wind-style wind net. After Sarutobi Hiruzen disappeared from the spot with the body flicker technique, Jiraiya and the others could no longer sense Sarutobi Hiruzen. So he immediately performed a perception-type ninjutsu, and a large amount of wind attribute chakra spewed out from his mouth, covering the space. As expected of the Hokage, he didn't even notice the slightest trace. Jiraiya frowned. Despite the sage body and the wind net's sensing, he still couldn't detect Sarutobi Hiruzen at all. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen is definitely the most powerful person in Konoha. If he really wanted to hide himself, Jiraiya and the others would not be able to find them because the difference in strength was too great. Orochimaru and Tsunade were also confused and could not find Sarutobi Hiruzen at all. Although Orochimaru and Tsunade were both sent flying, they were not injured. Sarutobi Hiruzen's control over strength is perfect. During a battle, if the enemy suddenly disappears and you can't sense each other, you should quickly gather together to prevent the enemy from defeating you one by one, rather than scattering together and looking around without a clue. If you are alone, you should immediately flee to an empty place. While escaping, you must always be prepared to use defensive ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice came from the darkness, and then Jiraiya felt a hand on his shoulder. He didn't know when Sarutobi Hiruzen came up behind him. Jiraiya was about to swing his kunai and stab backwards. He felt the hand on his shoulder suddenly exert force and directly grab him up. He felt his body lighten and was thrown out. Jiraiya quickly formed seals with his hands and performed the shadow clone technique. When his real body was about to fall to the ground, shadow clone caught him steadily. As for Tsunade and Orochimaru, they were not able to form hand seals that fast, and were knocked away by Sarutobi Hiruzen and fell heavily to the ground. Tsunade and Orochimaru, who were covered in dirt, formed a sharp contrast with Jiraiya, who was spotless. Looking at Jiraiya, who still had a smile on his face, Tsunade and Orochimaru also wanted to have such a fast hand seal forming speed. Putting aside other things, at least I don't have to do laundry when I get home. Their clothes were already covered in dust. Good job, Jiraiya. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't expect Jiraiya to be able to react so quickly. Thank you for the compliment, teacher. Fire-style flame bomb. Jiraiya and his shadow clone formed seals with their hands at the same time, and sprayed a large amount of hot oil bombs, bombarding Sarutobi Hiruzen. I have to say that second Hokage is truly a genius. The shadow clone technique he developed allows shadow clone to have independent consciousness and a certain level of combat capability. Once shadow clone is released or killed, all memories and experiences will return to the original body. However, the combat capability of shadow clone cannot be compared with that of the original body. The more chakra contained in the original body, the stronger the shadow clone will be. Naruto's signature move, multiple shadow clone technique, is an enhanced version of shadow clone technique. However, in order to perform multiple shadow clone techniques, a large amount of chakra must be consumed. If one does not have enough chakra, forcibly performing it may harm oneself or even one's life. There are thousands of forbidden techniques in the Hokage world, and at least half of them were developed by Senju Tobirama. If Senju Tobirama hadn't developed the perverted forbidden technique of impure world reincarnation, the ninja world wouldn't have become so chaotic. Wind-style great breakthrough. Orochimaru quickly formed seals with his hands, and a large amount of strong wind spewed out of his mouth, condensing into a large number of wind blades, following the fire bombs and attacking Sarutobi Hiruzen. The fire took advantage of the wind, and the power of the fire bomb increased a bit. If Orochimaru and Jiraiya's current tacit understanding was not enough, they could definitely cooperate to perform a combination of ninjutsu. Heaven-shattering kick. Tsunade also quickly formed seals, gathered chakra on his right foot, and stomped the ground hard. The ground in front of Tsunade cracked directly, extending a crack and spreading towards the ground where Sarutobi Hiruzen was standing. The three ninjutsu were activated almost in an instant. They really have good tacit understanding and coordination. In large-scale battles, coordination is almost the only thing that matters. Tacit coordination is crucial in battle. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and said. He quickly made hand gestures, the mud in front of him instantly softened and began to wriggle. An earthy yellow dragon head appeared, made entirely of mud. After the dragon head rose up, a large amount of chakra-rich mud bombs spewed out of its mouth. This ninjutsu is exactly the third generation's most proficient ninjutsu, Earth-style Earth Dragon Bullet. In an instant, Jiraiya and Orochimaru's attacks were directly neutralized by this ninjutsu. Both the fire bombs and wind blades were shattered by the mud bombs, and continued to hit Jiraiya and Orochimaru. As for the crack created by Tsunade, it was also blocked by the quagmire ahead. Earth-style Earth Flow Wall. The mud bullet was extremely fast, and Jiraiya and Orochimaru had no way of using the body flicker technique to leave. Jiraiya immediately gathered Earth Attribute Chakra and slapped the ground. Boom boom. The wall of the Earth Array shook violently, cracks appeared one after another, and it was unable to withstand the power of the Earth Dragon Bomb. The power of teachers is really something to be admired. Orochimaru hid behind the earth wall, licked the shuriken in his hand with his tongue and said longingly. You don't need to be sentimental at this moment. Get out of here quickly. I can't hold on for much longer. Jiraiya said speechlessly. Orochimaru and Tsunade then used the body flicker technique and left, and Jiraiya did the same. The battle lasted until dark, when it finally stopped. During this battle, Jiraiya and his friends learned many fighting skills. Sarutobi Hiruzen passed on all of his valuable combat experience to Jiraiya and the others without hiding anything. At the same time, after this battle, the cooperation between Jiraiya and the other three became more tacit and more organized. I hope that what I teach you today will enable you to defeat the enemy more easily and protect yourself in future battles. Today's training ends here. Gather here early in the morning 5 days from now. I have an important task for you to complete. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, smoking a pipe. Chapter 30 Home Tutoring. I understand, teacher. Jiraiya replied that when he heard that there were missions to be assigned, he still felt a little excited. Because going out on missions would allow him to hone himself better, and with his current strength, as long as he didn't meet the elite Jonin or Kage level bosses from the villages, even if he was no match for them, he would surely be able to escape easily. They are only at the level of Chunin now, and even if Sarutobi Hiruzen sends them a mission, it can only be a B-ranked mission at best, and it cannot exceed this level, otherwise they would be sending themselves to their deaths. Because even Jonin might die if he were to perform an A-level mission. As for S-rank missions, ordinary Jonin are not even qualified to carry them out. Only elite Jonin or those with Kage level strength can carry them out. With their current strength, they can only handle B-level tasks at best. As for Tsunade and Orochimaru, they were already exhausted and lying on the ground without even the strength to speak. They just nodded. In today's training, even Jiraiya, who has a sage body, is almost overwhelmed, so it is normal for Orochimaru and Tsunade to be so tired. Today's training was more difficult than practicing ninjutsu. After all, the one fighting with them was the third Hokage, and he was being abused almost the entire time. Although they were badly beaten, they gained a lot. It can be said that after this battle, Jiraiya and his men's combat awareness has become extremely strong. Putting Jiraiya aside, as long as Orochimaru and Tsunade can remember today's fighting skills, they will basically not be defeated in the battle with Chunin, and they can even fight against many enemies alone. Because a ninja's combat experience is also part of his strength, and it is crucial. A Jonin with no actual combat experience, versus a Chunin who has experienced many battles. If the two were to fight, the battle-hardened Chunin would definitely be victorious. In the Hokage world, there are countless examples of the weak defeating the strong, the most notable of which is Shikamaru relying on his IQ to formulate strategies and defeat his enemies. As for Jiraiya, he had long been hard to find rivals among the Chunin, and after today's training, the gap between him and the Jonin had been greatly narrowed. The mission in 5 days will require us to leave the village and go to a far place, so you must be prepared within these few days. Sarutobi Hiruzen warned. Jiraiya and the others continued to nod, and did not ask what the specific task would be in 5 days. It is impossible to inform the specific content of the mission in advance. If the mission content is informed in advance, there is a possibility of leakage, which will lead to the failure of mission execution. Sarutobi Hiruzen then left the training ground. What mission do you think the teacher will send us on? Tsunade said excitedly. I hope it's not a boring mission, otherwise it would be a waste of time. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth and said, he was also very much looking forward to it. Since they graduated from the Ninja Academy, they have carried out several missions, but they were all the lowest level D-level missions, either finding lost cats and dogs or taking out the trash, which were quite boring. Tsunade said as she jumped up from the ground and looked at Jiraiya. Tsunade, it was the teacher who pushed you and Orochimaru to the ground and rubbed them together. It has nothing to do with me. Why are you hitting me in the future? Orochimaru and I were both beaten so badly by the teacher, but you were the only one who was beaten the least. I felt unbalanced and wanted to beat you. Is this reason enough? Tsunade said with her hands on her hips. Damn it, I'm wrong to say I'm strong. Jiraiya thought helplessly. I'll treat you to a delicious dinner tonight. Tsunade said generously. Jiraiya and Orochimaru are both poor and almost entirely live on the compensation money from the village. They can only cook for themselves on weekdays and have no extra money to eat anything else. Tsunade took Jiraiya and Orochimaru to a very tall restaurant. After Jiraiya and Orochimaru sat down, they both consciously ordered some food that they wanted to eat but couldn't afford on weekdays. After all, Tsunade comes from a wealthy family and has no shortage of money. She is a typical rich woman. Jiraiya couldn't help but say as he watched Orochimaru use his tongue to continuously roll food into his mouth. What the hell? Orochimaru eats food at an insane rate. He is simply no match for them, and he will suffer a great loss if this continues. Because Orochimaru's tongue is so flexible. Jiraiya also wants to have such a silky and flexible tongue. Not only can it be used in combat, it can also make female ninjas feel sexually happy. Orochimaru was busy eating his food and ignored Jiraiya. In fact, he is even poorer than Jiraiya. His family inherited ninjutsu all relies on snakes, and he keeps a lot of snakes at home. Just cultivating these snakes has made Orochimaru extremely poor. Burp, burp. After an unknown amount of time, Orochimaru and Jiraiya rubbed their stomachs and burped at the same time, then said to Tsunade with a satisfied look, Tsunade, we are full, thank you for the treat. Looking at the piles of plates and various food bones, Tsunade suddenly felt like crying but had no tears. Damn, this is too much to eat. You should say thank you for your last treat. Tsunade said with a dark face, and took out his wallet with great pain. Jiraiya, you will come to my house tomorrow and teach me the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. After walking out of the restaurant and parting with Orochimaru, Tsunade said to Jiraiya. Now she is the only one who has not learned the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. Tsunade also felt a little embarrassed, but her progress in practicing this ninjutsu was very slow. If she relied on herself to figure it out, there was no telling how long it would take her to learn it. So now I can only ask Jiraiya. Jiraiya's eyes lit up, she hadn't expected Tsunade to ask her to come over as a tutor. After all, Tsunade had stated very carefully before that even if she could never learn this ninjutsu, she would never ask him for advice. Now he changed his mind so quickly. This is a good opportunity to enhance your relationship. After all, when teaching ninjutsu, some physical contact is inevitable. It's normal to accidentally touch Tsunade's breasts. If you accidentally end up in bed from the training room, that's perfectly normal. After all, in-depth communication is also needed between teachers and students. Before he traveled through time, he loved watching movies about tutors from the island countries, and he knew the plots very well. Do you agree or not? Tsunade asked again when Jiraiya did not respond. We are all classmates. How could I not agree to such a small matter? Jiraiya came to his senses and said that he would definitely become a qualified home tutor. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 31 New Rewards. You dare not refuse, remember to come early tomorrow, don't come too late. Tsunade said to Jiraiya. You're asking me how to practice ninjutsu, can't you be nicer? Jiraiya protested. What do you think of my attitude? Tsunade said with a cold face. You have big breasts, so whatever you say is right. See you tomorrow. Jiraiya glanced at Tsunade's chest, raised his eyebrows and smiled, then ran away. Damn Jiraiya, I'm going to kill you. Tsunade was instantly furious, but Jiraiya ran away too fast for Tsunade to catch up. But it's true. After Jiraiya ran away, Tsunade looked down at her breasts and said very proudly. I don't know when I can use my hands to measure how big it is. If I bury my head in it, I'll probably suffocate. Jiraiya thought about the plump pair. After returning home, Jiraiya took a short rest and then walked into the training room to continue doing push-ups and various exercises to build physical strength. Although he has not mastered any physical ninjutsu now, it is still very necessary to make his physical fitness stronger. Hokage, the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth have already begun to send a large number of ninjas to infiltrate the Kingdom of Rain to spy on the situation. It won't be long before they launch an attack on the Kingdom of Rain. We should also make preparations early to spy on the situation in the Kingdom of Rain. In order to prevent the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth from taking action first, if the two countries annex a large amount of the land of the Kingdom of Rain, the resources they obtain will exceed ours, and they will be able to train more ninjas. So we have to act as soon as possible, and we must not let the Wind Kingdom and the Earth Kingdom get ahead of us. Danzo said to Sarutobi Hiruzen in the Hokage building's office. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a long drag on his pipe and said, although the Rain country is not as large as ours, they are not weak either. It is not an easy task to invade their territory. Hanzo of Rain Shinobi Village in the Land of Rain is known as a demigod and has terrifying strength. If it weren't for his existence, the Rain country, sandwiched between the big powers, would have been annexed long ago. Our three great nations are attacking the Rain country at the same time. No matter how strong they are, they can never be our opponent. As long as we can occupy the resource-rich areas of the Rain country as early as possible, we can train more ninjas and occupy more resources. This is a virtuous cycle. Hokage-sama, we cannot hesitate any longer on this matter. We are already one step behind the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth. If we hesitate any longer, it will be even more disadvantageous to us. Danzo continued to persuade. Let me think about this matter carefully. Sarutobi Hiruzen replied with a frown. Sarutobi, the Land of Earth and the Land of Wind have already taken action, what else do you have to consider? If you don't give the order to spy on the Land of Rain, you will be damaging the interests of Konoha village. Danzo said angrily. Danzo, you don't need to teach me how to protect Konoha's interests. You have to remember that I am the Hokage and put myself in the right place. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a cold look. Sarutobi, just wait and see, you will definitely regret this. Danzo said in extreme anger, and then left the Hokage office building. War is really inevitable, Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a sigh. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to start a war from the bottom of his heart. Since he is the Hokage of Konoha village, if there was a big war with another village, it would be good if he won, because it would help him gain more prestige. But if he loses the battle and causes the village to suffer huge losses, his reputation will surely plummet. The villagers will definitely have complaints against him, and he might have to give up the position of Hokage at that time. He is still young and feels that he can serve as Hokage for another few decades without any problem. Danzo is bent on starting a war and has this in mind. If he didn't need Danzo to take the blame for him and do something shameful, he would never give Danzo such great power. This war is unavoidable, which is really a headache. Because occupying the territory of the Rain country would indeed allow them to obtain more resources and thus train more ninjas. If the Earth Kingdom and the Wind Kingdom attack the Rain Kingdom, they will definitely have to attack as well. Even if he didn't want to fight, the Konoha high-level officials would never allow it, and the daimyo of the Land of Fire would not allow it either. Because after the Wind Kingdom and the Earth Kingdom obtain a large amount of resources and become stronger, they will definitely encroach on the territory of the Fire Kingdom. But the Rain Kingdom is a tough nut to crack. If you are not careful, your teeth will be broken. Soon the Hokage's office was filled with smoke. After a long time, Sarutobi Hiruzen called his personal guards. Now go and inform Elder Danzo, and ask him to send people to spy on the Rain country. At the same time, pay attention to the movements of the Wind country and the Earth country. Since war is inevitable, we still have to prepare in advance. System sign in. The next morning, Jiraiya opened his eyes and said silently in his heart. Ding dong, sign in successfully, gain 5 years of physical training experience, the master can withdraw it at any time. The system's voice sounded immediately. What does this mean? Jiraiya was a little confused and didn't understand the reward. Master, after extracting 5 years of physical training experience, your physical strength and power will increase instantly, which is equivalent to your physical fitness after 5 years of hard training. The system answered in detail. Extract. Jiraiya said that he didn't expect the system to have such a reward. This can also directly enhance his strength. After he finished speaking, Jiraiya felt his whole body become warm, as if all kinds of power were merging into his body, strengthening every part of his body, even his cells were being strengthened. The process lasted about 3 minutes before the feeling slowly subsided. It's an addictive feeling, Jiraiya said as he clenched his fist. He now felt that the power contained in his body was several times stronger than before. Boom! Jiraiya threw a punch forward, and there was an explosion sound. My strength should be comparable to Tsunade's now. Jiraiya thought in his mind. His sage body has not been fully developed yet. If it is developed, he will also be able to possess extraordinary strength. After all, Tsunade's super strength is inherited from Senju Hashirama. It's time to find a ninjutsu to practice. With the chakra and physical strength I have now, it would be a waste not to practice ninjutsu. Jiraiya thought with a twinkling eye. Chapter 32. You are right. Ninjutsu can be said to be a combination of ninjutsu and taijutsu. However, this kind of physical skill is very rare and extremely difficult to obtain. The most famous ninjutsu is the lightning-style armor used by the 4th Raikage, which can perfectly integrate the lightning attribute chakra and physical skills, resulting in a huge increase in the power of physical skills and ninjutsu. As for whether Konoha has any powerful ninjutsu, Jiraiya is not sure. Even if there are, they are definitely in the hands of major families, so it would be very difficult for him to obtain them. Konoha's most famous ninjutsu, 8 Inner Gates, is not a physical ninjutsu but a simple physical technique. Because even if you open the 8th gate, all the attacks launched do not use chakra, and all of them are attacks launched by simple physical techniques that rub the air. Morning Peacock, Day Tiger, and Night Guy do not contain any chakra attribute attacks. I have to say that 8 Inner Gates is definitely the strongest taijutsu, it is simply too strong. I just hope that the system will be powerful tomorrow, and tomorrow's sign-in reward will be ninjutsu. If you can't get it by signing into the system, you can only get it from Tsunade or Sarutobi Hiruzen. Tsunade's second grandfather, Senju Tobarama's second Hokage, created countless ninjutsu, and one of them must be nintaijutsu. As for Sarutobi Hiruzen, he was originally from a big family. After becoming Hokage, he teamed up with Danzo to secretly eliminate many families and accumulated a lot of inheritance. If you want to get it from Tsunade, you must first get closer to Tsunade. The best way to get closer to her is to sleep with her and conquer her completely. If he wants to get it from Sarutobi Hiruzen, he has to show stronger talent and let Sarutobi Hiruzen allocate resources to him. After sorting out his thoughts, Jiraiya planned to go to Tsunade's house. Because if you go early, you can get a free breakfast. As the Senju clan is a large family, their breakfast must be very rich. The Senju clan's residence is in the core of the village. The building area is also very large, but compared with the Uchiha clan's residence next to it, the difference is huge. Since the deaths of Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama, the Senju clan began to decline rapidly, and no ninja who could take on the responsibility appeared again. The number of ninjas in the entire family is extremely small, and none of them has entered the core circle of Konoha. They have almost been excluded by the Konoha high-level officials and have almost no rights. This was all deliberate suppression by Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo. As for Sarutobi Hiruzen accepting Tsunade as his apprentice, it was also for the sake of comforting the Senju clan. It was to let the Senju clan see that they still had hope of returning to Konoha's core circle. If this is not done, if there are really violent ninjas from the Senju clan, they will most likely defect from the village and become rebel ninjas. The reason why the Senju clan declined the fastest was that no one was able to inherit the wood-style bloodline. If there really was someone who inherited Senju Hashirama's wood-style Kekkei limit, the Senju clan would definitely not be in such a miserable state as it is now. On the other hand, the Uchiha clan is now extremely populous, with a large number of ninjas, and now controls Konoha's guard force. This is because the Sharingan bloodline limit is very stable, and any descendant of the Uchiha clan can inherit the Sharingan. It is precisely because of this that Uchiha clan ninjas are basically not cuckolded. Now the power of the Uchiha clan is still at its peak in Konoha, and almost all of the guards are composed of Uchiha clan ninjas. The guard has great power in Konoha village, even more power than the Anbu, the Hokage's direct subordinate force. If Anbu wants to capture a village ninja, he must get permission from the Hokage before he can do it. The Uchiha clan's guard team does not need to do this. They can directly capture the ninja and send it to the Hokage for interrogation. It was precisely because the Uchiha clan possessed such great power that they were exterminated by the Konoha high-ranking officials. The Senju clan and the Uchiha clan were the two largest ninja clans when Konoha was founded. It is really sad to see the Senju clan's current situation become like this. When they reached the door of Tsunade's house, there were two civilians standing on either side of the door. To be honest, it is a bit of a loss of status for the Senju clan to use commoners to guard the door. The Uchiha clan next door, the core members' residences, are guarded by Chunin. "I'm here to see Tsunade." Jiraiya stepped forward and said. "You are Jiraiya-sama, right?" A civilian asked tentatively, his tone very respectful. Jiraiya is now wearing a ninja training suit. In Konoha village, the villagers have great respect for ninjas. Because they are bathed in the will of fire, they believe that they can have a peaceful and stable life, all of which can only be achieved by being a ninja. Jiraiya nodded. Ms. Tsunade has already given instructions that when Master Jiraiya arrives, he can go in directly. A civilian pushed the door open, spoke with great respect, and led the way. What a big yard. After following the civilians for a while, Jiraiya couldn't help but sigh in his heart. They had been walking for a long time now, still in Tsunade's front yard. There are rockery, flowing water, pavilions, lofts and lotus ponds. Everything is available. Comparing where he lived with Tsunade's house, the place he lived in was worse than a doghouse. I really don't want to work hard anymore, just support me. Jiraiya wanted to run up to Tsunade and yell right now. After walking for a long time, the civilian brought Jiraiya to a training ground. "Master Jiraiya, Miss Tsunade is waiting for you inside. You can go in directly. Thanks for showing me the way," Jiraiya said with a smile, then opened the door to the training ground and walked in. What a damned capitalist. After entering the training ground, Jiraiya exclaimed that his eyes had been opened. The area of the training ground was several times larger than the training ground behind the Hokage building. It contained almost all the training equipment that a ninja could use. However, in such a large training ground, there were only a few ninjas from the Senju clan practicing and training. I don't know if it was Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama who directly used up the luck of the Senju clan. After their death, there were almost no talented ninjas appearing in the Senju clan. Only Tsunade and Tsunade's younger brother Senju Nawaki have decent qualifications. But Senju Nawaki was killed in World War II. After death, even the internal organs were taken out and the body was completely gone. The person who did this was most likely Danzo. The purpose is naturally very simple, which is to obtain Hashirama cells. In the original Hokage story, Danzo had some cells from the Senju clan transplanted into him, and was able to successfully use the wood style, although it wasn't very powerful. Jiraiya soon spotted Tsunade, throwing shurikens and practicing the shuriken shadow clone technique, but it still looked like he was making no progress. "Tsunade, You were too hasty in injecting chakra into the shuriken. If you continue to practice this way, I'm afraid you will never be able to master this jutsu in your lifetime. Jiraiya watched from the side for a while before walking up to Tsunade and speaking. Just tell me how to solve it. I called you here to teach me this ninjutsu, not to scold me. Tsunade said with a snort. Seeing Tsunade's attitude, Jiraiya was about to complain, but then he looked at the swaying breasts on Tsunade's chest. The anger in my heart disappeared instantly. You are the boss, and everything you said is right. Chapter 33 Home Tutoring. For your sake, Jiraiya chose to forgive Tsunade's lack of manners. Don't worry, I will guide you in your practice. What do you have to worry about? I promise you will be able to learn it. Jiraiya is still very confident in his ability to teach Tsunade. He has almost completely mastered the Shuriken Shadow Clone Ninjutsu. Tsunade's talent is not bad, but he is too impatient. Otherwise, you would definitely be able to get started with the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique by now. If I still can't teach you, then you have to give up practicing this ninjutsu. Jiraiya then added another sentence. Before I teach you how to practice, can you give me some breakfast first? I'm in such a hurry to teach you how to practice that I haven't even had breakfast yet. Jiraiya said while touching his stomach. Thinking of Jiraiya and Orochimaru's amazing appetite, Tsunade's mouth twitched slightly. It seems that asking Jiraiya to come and teach him how to practice is not a wise choice. But Tsunade didn't refuse and quickly gave the order. Not long after, two maids brought a delicious breakfast. This is life. Jiraiya sighed in his heart. He also wants to have such a life. He didn't want to have a beautiful maid. I just want to have a delicious breakfast every morning. Can we start now? Tsunade asked, hoping Jiraiya would finish his breakfast. I will teach you step by step, and I hope you can learn this ninjutsu today. Jiraiya replied, wiping the corners of his mouth with the tissue handed to him by the maid. You don't need to teach me in person. You just need to point out my shortcomings and teach me how to correct them. If you dare to get close to me, I will destroy you. Tsunade was extremely alert, and her words were filled with danger. I don't have any other intentions. I just want you to learn this ninjutsu faster. Don't think in the wrong way. Since you don't want to, forget it. Jiraiya said with a little disappointment in his heart. He hadn't expected Tsunade to be so wary of him. This is somewhat different from the plot development of the home teacher films in the island country. In the plot of the film, teachers don't have to take the initiative to mention things like this, but female students will take the initiative to ask for it. Now he took the initiative to propose and was rejected. Life is so difficult. Tsunade then began to practice the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. Tsunade, are you kidding me? I'm here to teach you how to practice, and you still have no idea. As the sky gradually darkened, Tsunade still hadn't learned the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. Jiraiya shouted to the sky helplessly, as if he had oversimplified things. He really teaches with all his heart, and Tsunade also learns with all his heart. But for some reason, Tsunade couldn't get started. It seems that Tsunade is still suitable for learning medical ninjutsu and developing his own superpowers. It is indeed a bit difficult for Tsunade to learn such a difficult ninjutsu. In the original Hokage, the ninjutsu that Tsunade mastered were basically medical ninjutsu, and as for output, he mainly relied on his own super strength. Tsunade has not yet decided on his future development path. She has not yet been exposed to medical ninjutsu, and her talent in medical ninjutsu has not yet been revealed. Currently, Konoha does not attach much importance to the training of medical ninjas. Because the top leaders of Konoha village believe that it is better to spend resources training combat ninjas instead of training medical ninjas. As for injuries in battle, that is naturally easy to deal with. If you can recover, then recover. If you cannot recover from death or become disabled, it will be a proof of your loyalty to the village. Because under the influence of the will of fire, it is an extremely glorious thing for a ninja to die fighting for the village. The purpose of a ninja's existence is to protect the village. Those injured for the village don't need any medical ninja to heal them. So now the number of medical ninjas in Konoha is extremely limited. It was not until Tsunade grew up that he kept asking the Konoha high-level officials to increase resources to train medical ninjas. It was because Kadando supported Tsunade's point of view that he won Tsunade's favor. It is precisely because of Tsunade's constant persistence that in the future, Konoha's 3-person team will basically be equipped with a medical ninja. It must be that you didn't teach me carefully, otherwise, how could I not learn it? Tsunade directly asked Jiraiya the question. Tsunade, you have to be honest when you speak. I have taught you everything I know. Jiraiya immediately complained. I don't care. You said this morning that you could teach me. If you don't teach me, you can't leave this training ground. Tsunade threatened Jiraiya. You must let me teach you step by step. I will personally help you guide your chakra. Only in this way can you learn it. Otherwise, you will never learn it in your lifetime. Jiraiya said solemnly that if Tsunade didn't agree, he would never teach her again. Because Tsunade was driving him crazy. Damn it, Tsunade still can't remember a question even after repeating it many times. It is most appropriate to describe Tsunade as big-breasted and brainless. Okay, but if you dare to do anything tricky, I will never forgive you. Tsunade hesitated for a moment and nodded in agreement. Seeing Tsunade agreed, Jiraiya took a deep breath, walked behind Tsunade, grabbed Tsunade's hands, and then let Tsunade hold the shuriken. Weak and boneless, this was Jiraiya's first impression. The hands are so soft. If I touch the roundness of her chest, I will take off immediately. Tsunade's body shuddered, her breathing quickened slightly, and her face flushed slightly. My heartbeat quickened. It was the first time for her to have such close contact with a boy. Throw away all distracting thoughts, concentrate your chakra and follow the chakra I concentrate. Jiraiya said to Tsunade that he didn't have any evil thoughts now and really wanted to teach Tsunade. After all, if he didn't teach her and just took advantage of her, it would definitely anger Tsunade. If I teach Tsunade how to do it, and pretend to touch her accidentally when she is happy, Tsunade probably won't mind. Jiraiya condensed chakra and slowly transferred it to Tsunade's hand, guiding Tsunade's chakra into the shuriken. If he still can't teach Tsunade, then Jiraiya will have no choice but to give up. Acknowledge that there are things in the world that even geniuses cannot do. When you channel the chakra, you must be gentle. I've told you this many times. I don't want to keep repeating it. Don't make the same mistake again. When condensing a shuriken clone, you must not gather too much chakra, otherwise it will explode and fail to form an effective clone. You must remember this. If you still can't remember it, I will slap you on the butt to remind you next time. Quote. Jiraiya began to teach Tsunade carefully. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. After a long time, Tsunade shouted, threw out the shuriken, then quickly formed seals with both hands. The flying shuriken shook slightly, and a shuriken was separated. Bang, bang. With a loud bang, two shurikens directly smashed the wooden stakes in front. Finally succeeded. Seeing Tsunade succeed, Jiraiya was even more excited than Tsunade himself and almost shed tears. If Tsunade doesn't learn it again, he's really going to cry. After all, Tsunade never knows how to do it, so how can he take advantage? Chapter 34 I didn't mean it, you have to believe me. Finally succeeded. Tsunade was also extremely excited. As long as she could successfully split one clone and practice diligently for a period of time, she would naturally be able to split more clones. Moreover, Tsunade has extraordinary strength, and when he throws the shuriken, he can increase its power a lot. I said there is nothing this genius can't do. Jiraiya said proudly to Tsunade. Teaching Tsunade was even more difficult than practicing the shuriken shadow clone technique himself. The night sky is now full of stars, which have hardly stopped shining since this morning. You have worked hard to learn this ninjutsu. We should hug each other to celebrate. Jiraiya finished his words and without waiting for Tsunade to express his opinion, he took a step forward and hugged Tsunade. Jiraiya felt two unusually soft things pressing on his chest, which was very comfortable. All the hard work before was worth it at this moment. Soft? Tsunade asked. Very soft. Jiraiya answered automatically. Jiraiya, you are looking for death. Tsunade instantly became furious and pushed Jiraiya away, emitting murderous intent. Tsunade, don't get excited. I was just too happy to see you learn, so I hugged you impulsively. It was definitely not to take advantage of you. You have to believe me. Jiraiya immediately explained. We are companions, so of course I choose to believe you. Tsunade smiled sweetly and restrained her murderous intent and said. Jiraiya just breathed a sigh of relief, and then his expression changed slightly. Tsunade was seen covered in chakra and yelled, nervous system rupture. It turned into an afterimage and rushed towards Jiraiya. Earth-style earth flow wall. Jiraiya reacted very quickly, slapping the ground with both hands. A large amount of earth attribute chakra flowed into the ground, and a thick earth wall rose directly from the ground. Boom. With a loud bang, the earth wall shattered into pieces, and smoke and dust rose up. Jiraiya, I'm going to beat you up today. Tsunade approached Jiraiya and punched him repeatedly. But Jiraiya dodged them easily. He had just checked in on his physical training today, and with the sage body's perception ability, it shouldn't be too easy for him to avoid Tsunade's attacks. Tsunade, I really didn't mean it. If I did, I would have just caught you. Jiraiya now feels a little regretful. If he had known he would be beaten, he would have just touched her directly. What a miscalculation. Tsunade did not choose to believe Jiraiya's explanation and continued to attack Jiraiya desperately. Jiraiya didn't explain it, and he could use Tsunade to train his reaction ability. Tsunade, you better give up. There's no way you can beat me. It's almost dawn. Let's go get some rest. Until the sky in the east turned pale, Tsunade still hadn't touched Jiraiya, but he was already exhausted and out of breath. Damn it, why do you have so much energy? Tsunade asked very unwillingly after her punch missed. Her strength is now almost exhausted. Jiraiya is still alive and well. Damn it, who is the true successor of the Senju clan? After all, their Senju clan is famous for their abundant physical strength. No one could inherit Senju Hashirama's wood style, but many people inherited his terrifying supernatural powers. I really don't want to answer questions like this anymore. The reason is very simple, because I am a 1 in a million genius. Jiraiya replied with a smile. Tsunade, I really didn't mean to take advantage of you. If I really wanted to take advantage of you, I would have had plenty of opportunities to reach out and touch you when you attacked me. Jiraiya explained further. I choose to believe you. Tsunade stopped attacking and suddenly sat on the ground and said. Even if she didn't believe Jiraiya now, she didn't have the energy to continue attacking Jiraiya. Jiraiya, thank you for helping me practice today. If you have any troubles in the future, just tell me and I will definitely help you solve it. Tsunade said as she laid down on the grass and closed her eyes. Miss Tsunade, don't worry. If I have any trouble in the future, I will definitely come to you first and will never be polite to you. Seeing that Tsunade really gave up the attack, Jiraiya also lay on the ground casually and said. After this training, his relationship with Tsunade did become much closer. What do you think of our teacher? Tsunade asked suddenly. Jiraiya didn't find it strange that Tsunade asked this question. Now that the Senju clan has lost so much power, some of the elders in the clan must have many complaints against Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen was the apprentice of Senju Tobirama, who in turn passed the position of Hokage to him. Now that Sarutobi Hiruzen treats the Senju clan like this, unless the Senju clan is heartless, they will not resent Sarutobi Hiruzen. So who do you think the teacher is? Jiraiya threw the question back. He believes that Sarutobi Hiruzen is not a good person, as he randomly slaughters people from various families in Konoha village for the sake of the village's stability. All I can say is that he is an excellent politician. I don't know either. The only thing I know is that the village is so peaceful now because of the teacher. Tsunade replied. Tsunade's will is now also tainted by the will of fire. The power of the will of fire is actually very strong. The stability of a village can never be maintained by one person. Jiraiya said, shaking his head. If the second generation had not laid a solid foundation for Konoha village, even if Sarutobi Hiruzen was now in his prime, it would be impossible for Konoha to prosper. In the blink of an eye, Tsunade fell into a deep sleep. Jiraiya smiled and shook his head, took off his coat, gently covered Tsunade with it, and then left Tsunade's house. Sign in. After returning to his home, Jiraiya said to himself. Ding dong, sign in successful. Obtain the medical ninjutsu 10,000 poison seal. The mechanical voice of the system sounded in Jiraiya's mind. Please give me more details. Jiraiya said. The 10,000 poison seal is a poison-repelling ninjutsu. No matter what poison attack the master is subjected to in the future, performing this ninjutsu can instantly use chakra to burn the poison out of the body. The stronger the toxin, the longer it will burn. This jutsu can only be used by yourself, it cannot heal others. System details. The name sounds like a poison ninjutsu, but I didn't expect it to be a detoxification ninjutsu. It is also extremely heaven-defying, and can actually remove all toxins. In the next second battle, they will fight against the ninjas from the Wind Kingdom and the Rain Kingdom. These two countries are best at using poison, especially Hanzo, the ninja leader of the Rain Country, who is a master of poison. It is precisely because of his poison ninjutsu that he is called a demigod in the ninja world. After he mastered this ninjutsu, his safety rate in World War II was greatly improved. Chapter 35 Danzo's Thoughts. I have to say that his system is quite conscientious. Whatever you need will come to you. The 10,000 Poison Seal ninjutsu, when placed in medical ninjutsu, is almost equivalent to an S-level ninjutsu. The only downside is that it can't be used by other people. If he met Chio and Hanzo in the future, he would definitely surprise them. Whether it was Chio or Hanzo's poison, both made the ninjas of Konoha suffer. During World War II, almost all the ninjas who fought in the Rain Country were killed by the poison gas released by Hanzo. Only Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru survived, and from then on they were given the title of Konoha Sannin. As for Chio, during the 3 wars, she even concocted various poisons to attack the Konoha shinobi. If Konoha did not have Tsunade, an extremely talented medical ninja who was able to prepare the antidote in time, Konoha would have suffered heavy losses as well. In the melee, it is very easy for the enemy ninja to successfully launch a sneak attack using poison. It can be said that poison is definitely a terrifying existence in the Hokage world. But after he mastered this ninjutsu, no matter how powerful the poison was, it could not do anything to him. Combined with the self-healing ability of his sage body, he basically won't die unless his head is blown up by someone. Extract. Jiraiya spoke up. Ding dong, extraction successful. As the system's voice fell, a lot of information appeared in Jiraiya's mind. In just a moment, he mastered this ninjutsu that was close to S level. Jiraiya did not intend to continue resting, but went into the bathroom, took a hot bath, and then went to bed to rest. Damn little devil, why did you have to awaken your bloodline? It caused me to be unable to return home and sleep with my wife. It's really abominable. On a leafy tree not far from Jiraiya's house, the rabbit-faced ninja saw Jiraiya falling asleep and said with a sad and angry look on his face. There is a high possibility that his wife is currently entertaining other Anbu members. And he can only carry out his mission here alone. If I hadn't mastered this damn jutsu, I wouldn't be in this situation. The rabbit-faced ninja began to regret learning the night hidden technique again. Has Jiraiya used a new special ability recently? As the rabbit-faced ninja was complaining, Danzo suddenly and silently appeared behind him. Reporting to Lord Danzo, I did not see Jiraiya use his new special ability, but Jiraiya went to the Senju clan's base early yesterday morning and came back not long ago. I don't know what happened during this period. The rabbit-faced ninja reported respectfully. Although the Senju clan is not powerful in Konoha, the Anbu cannot monitor the Senju clan without the permission of the Hokage, and they are not even allowed to approach the Senju clan's residence. Danzo nodded and then said, from today on, you don't need to monitor Jiraiya anymore. I will send someone else to replace you. Thank you, Master Danzo. The rabbit-faced ninja said excitedly that he could finally go back and sleep with his lovely wife. Don't worry, I haven't finished speaking yet. I have a new mission for you. You will take the Anbu team to the Rain Country immediately and find out how many ninjas from the Wind Country have entered the Rain Country, and try to figure out their purpose. Danzo ordered to the rabbit-faced ninja. Ever since Sarutobi Hiruzen agreed to launch an operation against the Rain Country, Anbu now has several teams heading to the Rain Country. The rabbit-faced ninja was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that the job would be even more difficult. He was here to monitor Jiraiya, and his wife had been so hospitable. If he went to the Rain Country to carry out the mission, wouldn't his wife become even more unbridled? The T-team has assembled and is at the west gate of the village. You can set off now. You can go and carry out the mission without worry. We will take good care of your wife for you. You don't have to worry about that. Danzo spoke up. The rabbit-faced ninja wanted to cry but couldn't refuse Danzo's order, so he asked quietly, Elder, before going to the Rain Country, can I go home first? The mission is urgent, you must set off immediately. Danzo shook his head and said. Damn, your wife is now warmly entertaining Anbu members. If I let you go back now, it would be detrimental to Anbu's stability. As the leader of Anbu, he absolutely cannot allow such a thing to happen. After all, he will be visiting the rabbit-faced ninja's house later. The rabbit-faced ninja could only nod resignedly. At the same time, I also made up my mind. After returning from this mission, he will also try to visit other people's homes. The rabbit-faced ninja used the body flicker technique and left. I hope the bloodline that awakens isn't some trashy one like Two Duns. Danzo thought to himself as he looked at Jiraiya. The Moonlight family is a small family in Konoha. Some time ago, a member of the family, for unknown reasons, awakened a bloodline limit called transparent release. This bloodline limit can make one's body invisible, but it can only be done when one is completely still. If one moves, one's body will become visible. It can be said to be extremely useless. After all, if you want to use stealth to spy on intelligence or assassinate, you must move. The reason why Danzo now hopes that Jiraiya can awaken the extremely powerful bloodline is because he wants to possess it for himself. In the original Hokage, it can be said that Danzo was also a scientific researcher, secretly studying various special bloodlines in order to gain power from them, and he had some small gains. The arms full of Sharingan and Hashirama cells are the best proof of this. Jiraiya was a civilian ninja. If he wanted to secretly kill him and take the body away for research, it would be a very simple thing. As for Sarutobi Hiruzen, he has his own way to deal with it. Don't ever let me down. If Jiraiya's awakened bloodline was too weak, he would naturally not take action. Not long after the rabbit-faced ninja left, another Anbu staff member arrived, who was here to replace the rabbit-faced ninja. You must keep a close eye on Jiraiya. If he uses his special abilities, you must report to me immediately. Danzo ordered him. I understand, the Anbu member replied respectfully. Danzo then used the body flicker technique and left, going to visit the home of the rabbit-faced ninja. Looking at the direction Danzo left, the new Anbu members felt envious. While others were having fun, he still had to work. To be precise, Danzo can be considered to be working, after all, it is physical labor. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 36 Shopping is also a form of spiritual practice. Hokage-sama, there are already 6 Anbu teams heading to the Rain country to gather intelligence. But I think it's still far from enough. From the previous intelligence, the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth have already made up their minds to attack the Kingdom of Rain. We must send more ninjas to spy on the situation. Only in this way can we take the initiative when the war breaks out. But now Anbu members can no longer be sent out. If they continue to be sent out, there will not be enough manpower if an emergency occurs in the village. So I suggest that Fugaku pick out some elites from the Uchiha clan, form a few teams, and send them to the Rain country. Danzo said to Sarutobi Hiruzen in the Hokage office building. Anbu is the organization that maintains Konoha's stability. At all times, it must ensure that there are sufficient personnel to deal with various emergencies. Danzo, I object to your proposal. If we allow the Uchiha clan to go to the Rain country to gather intelligence, it will be extremely disadvantageous for us to weaken the strength of the Uchiha clan. The Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth are bound to attack the Kingdom of Rain. We can't just sit there and watch. When the time comes, a war will surely break out for the sake of fighting for territory. We can use this war to weaken the Uchiha clan's strength. Once we allow the Uchiha clan to collect intelligence, how can we weaken the Uchiha? Mitokado Homura objected, shaking his head. Every time there was a war, they weakened the power of Konoha's large families. I agree with Homura. We can't let the Uchiha clan intervene too soon. Udatain Kaharu said next. If they don't let the Uchiha clan know the intelligence in advance, when the war breaks out, they will let the Uchiha clan go to fight, which will definitely put them in a very passive position and they will definitely lose many members of the clan. Now that the Uchiha clan is so powerful, they feel extremely uneasy. Mitokado Homura and Udatain Kaharu also hold extremely high positions in Konoha and are the third Hokage's confidants. The two of them were much closer to Sarutobi Hiruzen than Danzo. Danzo frowned when he saw the two people objecting and said, "You are really short-sighted. The resources of the Rain country are extremely important and we in Konoha must eat as much as possible. The Wind Kingdom and the Earth Kingdom are now extremely powerful. If we want to do this, we must obtain more intelligence to formulate a battle plan. Even if the Uchiha clan learns the information in advance, we can still think of other ways to weaken their clan's strength during the war." Danzo, you don't need to say more. The Uchiha clan must not enter the Rain country early. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought about it for a moment and rejected Danzo's proposal. You're going to regret this, Sarutobi. Danzo was very angry when his suggestion was rejected and left the Hokage office building. Hokage-sama, are you being a little too indulgent with Danzo? Mitokado Homura said very unhappily. I think it's time to give Danzo a slap on the wrist. Udatain Kaharu couldn't agree more. Don't worry about him. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a smile. He is now at his peak and is extremely confident in his own abilities. No matter how Danzo tries, he can always suppress Danzo. No matter how many plans you make, you still have to rely on your strength to execute them in the end. If you don't have the strength, no matter how good your plan is, it will be useless. Hokage, we must not allow the Uchiha clan to expand their power any further. We must weaken them, or they will have the power to launch a coup. Mitokado Homura emphasizes the threat posed by the Uchiha clan. If the Uchiha want to open their eyes, they must have strong emotional stimulation. An extremely unstable race like this will eventually bring disaster to the village. Udatain Kaharu is also extremely prejudiced against the Uchiha clan. I'll leave this matter to you. Come up with a plan as soon as possible. Sarutobi Hiruzen said as he exhaled a puff of smoke. As you command, Hokage-sama. Mitokado Homura and Udatain Kaharu left the Hokage office. Anything that can threaten the stability of the village should not exist. Sarutobi Hiruzen tapped the table with his pipe, his eyes gleaming coldly. Bang, bang. Various noises continued to be heard in the training room of Jiraiya's house. After Jiraiya woke up, he started practicing directly. I didn't expect that you would come to my door so soon. Jiraiya, who was training, suddenly sensed Tsunade walking into his home. This time Tsunade didn't kick the door again, but gently pushed it open, much more gently than before. Jiraiya walked out of the training room and saw Tsunade holding his clothes in her hands. Jiraiya, these are your clothes. I have washed them for you. Tsunade said as she handed the clothes to Jiraiya. Girls should be gentler. Jiraiya took the clothes and muttered something. After guiding Tsunade in practice yesterday, and having some intimate contact, Tsunade's attitude towards him had changed. At least stop kicking his door. And his speaking attitude has also improved a lot. You can see it from the extremely clean clothes that have been washed. If my opinion of him hasn't changed. If Tsunade wakes up and finds his clothes covering her, she will tear them into pieces immediately without washing them. So you're saying I wasn't gentle before? Tsunade asked with a frown. I don't mean that. You have always been very gentle in my heart. Jiraiya said quickly. Would you like to go with me to buy ninja tools and military ration pills? Tsunade invited Jiraiya. Jiraiya naturally wouldn't refuse. When going out on a mission, you must buy enough shurikens and military pills. He didn't have much savings, so if he went to buy it with Tsunade, a rich woman, he would definitely get it for free. How could he refuse such a good thing? Jiraiya happily went out with Tsunade. Tsunade, are you sure you came with me to buy ninja tools? You didn't just ask me to do the hard labor for you. Jiraiya said in a breakdown as he watched Tsunade asking the clerk to pack up the two skirts again. He now had many bags in his hands and even one hanging around his neck, all filled with clothes purchased by Tsunade. My father once said that accompanying a woman shopping can be considered a form of spiritual practice. I am helping you to practice. What do you have to complain about? Tsunade said with a smile as she placed the newly packed clothes into Jiraiya's hands. Jiraiya was about to open his mouth to retort, but Tsunade suddenly grabbed his hand and said with the same enthusiasm, I'm going to shop until dark today. Jiraiya was forcibly taken to the next store by Tsunade and continued shopping. It seems that women from all over the world love shopping. Just consider it as an early experience of married life. Jiraiya comforted himself in his heart. Chapter 37 First Mission. Jiraiya, let's go buy some ninja tools. As it got dark, Tsunade's desire to buy finally stopped. Now Jiraiya and his shadow clone were covered in packages. It seems that in order to catch up with Tsunade in the future, I must learn multiple shadow clone techniques. Otherwise, the packages will never be delivered. He now suspects that Senju Tobarama's development of multiple shadow clone was most likely inspired by his girlfriend while shopping. Can you wear all the clothes you bought? Jiraiya asked curiously. You buy it if you want to buy it, you wear it if you want to wear it. Who says you have to wear it after you buy it? Tsunade replied. Jiraiya was speechless for a moment and could only say that having money means being willful. Tsunade pulled Jiraiya towards the street of ninja tools. Jiraiya could clearly feel that Tsunade's affection for him was increasing. If it were in the past, if he took the initiative to touch Tsunade's hand, Tsunade would definitely chase him for several blocks. Now Tsunade took the initiative to hold her hand. This is huge progress. He was one step closer to his small goal. As we walked into the ninja tool street, the flow of people immediately decreased. Because the common people of Konoha cannot enter the ninja tool street, only ninjas are qualified to enter. Almost all the industries on Ninja Tool Street are run by the big families of Konoha. None of them were run by civilian ninjas. Because the metal used to make shuriken is a strategic resource, civilian ninjas have no channels to obtain it. Only the major ninja families can obtain it. The clan emblems of various clans are placed at the entrance of every ninja tool shop. The Shimura clan, the Sarutobi clan, the Yamanaka clan, the Akamaiki clan. The largest ninja tool shop was founded by the Uchiha clan. Jiraiya looked carefully but did not find the Senju clan's ninja tool shop. Jiraiya found it strange at first, but soon figured out the key. There are only a few Senju ninjas, so how could anyone be able to make shurikens? If the Senju clan could still continue to make shurikens, Tsunade wouldn't have asked him to buy ninja tools. Let's go to the ninja tool shop run by the Akamaiki clan. Tsunade said to Jiraiya. Jiraiya nodded. The ninja tools forged by the major families in Konoha village are actually not much different, so it is okay to buy them from any of them. Tsunade and Jiraiya walked into the Akamaiki clan's shop. The Akamaiki clan's shop is connected to the Yamanaka clan's and Nara clan's shops. These three families have the closest relationship and are known as Ino Shika-cho. It is an extremely powerful force in Konoha village and has a lot of say among Konoha's high-level officials. Welcome, both of you. What ninja tools do you need? A middle-aged genin from the Akamaiki family asked with a warm smile as he walked into the store. We just need some regular ninja tools and some ration pills, Tsunade said. Please come over here, everything you need is here. The middle-aged genin said politely and took them to the counter on the other side. Various common ninja tools, shurikens, kunai, and senbon are placed on the counter. As for the table inside the cabinet, some military pills were placed on it. I want all these ninja tools and military ration pills. Tsunade said very proudly. It's great to have money. Jiraiya was extremely envious. The middle-aged genin was very excited to see Tsunade being so generous, and he quickly put the ninja tools and military ration pills into the storage scroll. Storage scrolls are storage items commonly used by ninjas, and can be used to store various inanimate objects. You two are the apprentices of the Hokage-sama. You can enjoy a 20% discount at our store. The middle-aged genin told Tsunade the discounted price. As Jiraiya and Tsunade Hokage-sama's apprentices, they can sometimes enjoy certain benefits in Konoha village. Especially when buying things from the ninja families in the Hokage faction, the discounts they can give are huge. The Ino Shika-cho clans are extremely supportive of the Hokage. They will strongly support whoever becomes Hokage. Tsunade happily paid the money. He gave half of the storage scroll to Jiraiya. Jiraiya and Shadow Clone carried large and small bags and followed Tsunade back to the Senju clan's residence. After sending the things in, Jiraiya was just about to leave. Tsunade suddenly grabbed him, took out a wooden bracelet, and said to Jiraiya, "Thank you for your hard work today. This is a gift I specially picked for you. I won't let you work in vain." Jiraiya took the bracelet and found the word, "gang," engraved on one of the beads. Jiraiya has some surprises. Is this a declaration of sovereignty? Could it be that Tsunade has secretly fallen in love with him? Why don't you wear it? Do you think it's ugly? Are you questioning my vision? Tsunade said somewhat unhappily. Of course not, it's just that you gave me a gift suddenly and I feel a little uncomfortable. Jiraiya replied after putting it on. Snort. This is also the first time I give a boy a gift, so just be happy. Tsunade said with some tsundereness. Jiraiya and Tsunade chatted for a while outside the door before parting. It seems that small goals are easier to accomplish. Jiraiya looked at the bracelet on his wrist and said with a smile. System sign in. A few days later, early in the morning, Jiraiya woke up and spoke to the system. Ding dong, sign in successfully, fire style how long fire technique. The system sounded. How long fire technique is AB rank fire style, and its power is also extremely impressive. His chakra nature is the most active in fire attribute, and fire style is extremely suitable for him. Extract. Jiraiya spoke up. A piece of information was transmitted into his brain, and he mastered the Great Fire Dragon technique instantly. After Jiraiya washed up and had breakfast, he headed towards the training grounds of the Hokage building. Now 5 days have passed, and it is time for them to go out on their mission. When Jiraiya arrived at the training ground, Tsunade and Orochimaru also arrived. They walked into the training grounds together and saw Sarutobi Hiruzen already waiting for them. Jiraiya and the others greeted him. "You came so early, it seems that you are in high spirits for the mission," Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a smile. "Teacher, please stop keeping us in suspense and tell us what the mission is," Tsunade asked impatiently. "This is your mission scroll." Sarutobi Hiruzen took out 3 scrolls and threw them to Jiraiya and the others. Jiraiya and the others took the scroll, opened it and read the contents. It was discovered that the scroll contained a map of the route leading to the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Rain. Their missions are marked at the bottom of the map. At the border with the Rain Kingdom, there are a large number of herbs that are ripe and ready to be harvested. These herbs are essential for making detoxifying pills and various healing medicines. It can be considered a strategic resource. The border is not stable now, and Sarutobi Hiruzen is afraid that the enemy will take these herbs, so he plans to send them to guard the herbs. To be precise, they were going to provide reinforcements, as a group of ninjas had already arrived there and were taking up position. You must rush to the destination as quickly as possible. Once you arrive, you must follow the instructions of Hitaki Tsukumo Jonin, Sarutobi Hiruzen said immediately. Chapter 38 Hitaki Tsukumo. I didn't expect that Hitaki Tsukumo would be in charge there, Jiraiya thought to himself with a twinkling gaze. Hitaki Tsukumo is the genius of Konoha. He is only a few years older than them, but he is already a Jonin. According to rumors, he is not far from being an elite Jonin. He is an extremely powerful existence. Hitaki Kakashi is his son. Kakashi is so good because he inherited the good genes of Hitaki Tsukumo. But Hitaki Tsukumo is also a tragic character. His contribution to Konoha is enormous, and his military exploits can be said to be outstanding. Respectfully called Konoha's White Fang by hostile forces, it was a terrifying existence that struck fear into the hearts of enemies during World War II. Such a talented ninja eventually died at the hands of his own people. It's really sad and lamentable. Willing to give up the mission in order to save his companions. It can be said that this is an extremely correct choice. But when he returned to the village, he was met with incomprehension from everyone. Even the companions who were rescued began to blame Hitaki Tsukumo. During this process, no one stood up to say a fair word for Hitaki Tsukumo. In this way, Hitaki Tsukumo's faith collapsed, he became disappointed with the village he loved, and chose to commit suicide. The reason why Hitaki Tsukumo ended up in this situation was because his reputation among the common people was too high, which gave him the opportunity to compete for the position of Hokage. The public attacks on Hitaki Tsukumo must have been instigated by someone secretly. Danzo and third generation are definitely involved. Otherwise, it would be impossible for all ninjas to start attacking Hitaki Tsukumo. It is not shameful to abandon the mission for the sake of your companions' lives. You guys can go now, I'm looking forward to your performance, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Yes, teacher, Jiraiya and the others replied, and then destroyed the mission scrolls in their hands. A qualified ninja, after receiving a mission scroll and memorizing its contents, must destroy the mission scroll to prevent the mission from being leaked. What if I forget? I can only shamelessly ask my superior for another copy. What if I forget again? That only means I am not suitable to be a ninja and I have to find another way out. Jiraiya and the others rushed to the mission location. Jiraiya and his team had never been to the mission site, and they didn't know how long it would take them to get there. So they dare not waste any time now. Looking at the surrounding terrain, we should be reaching the mission location soon. After a few days, Orochimaru looked at the surroundings and spoke. At our current speed, we will be there in another hour. Jiraiya nodded and said. Their journey was very smooth and they did not encounter any danger. The scenery here is really beautiful. Tsunade sighed as she looked at the surrounding scenery. Since this place is close to the rain country, the climate is humid and the land is very fertile, with all kinds of flowers and plants growing on it. Now the air is filled with a fragrant scent, because there are all kinds of gorgeous flowers blooming everywhere. It is precisely because of the climate here that Konoha grows a large number of medicinal herbs here. After more than an hour, Jiraiya and his companions' vision gradually became clearer, and a plain appeared in front of them. A large number of medicinal herbs are planted on the plain, and the air is filled with a very strong herbal scent. There are also a small number of Konoha shinobi patrolling among the herbs. And in one place on the plain, there are several simple wooden houses. We've finally arrived. Tsunade wiped the sweat from his forehead. After several days of non-stop traveling, they were very tired, especially because they were too bored during the journey. Before Jiraiya and the others got close to the plane, a Konoha shinobi saw them and rushed over here. He is a middle-aged chunin with a nimble little monkey embroidered on his clothes, and is a ninja from the Sarutobi clan. The ninja of the Sarutobi clan stopped at a distance from Jiraiya and the others, looking at them warily. Senior, we are here to provide reinforcements under the orders of the Fire Hokage-sama. This is our identification. Jiraiya and the others took out their identification cards and threw them to the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan. After a careful inspection, the Sarutobi clan ninja confirmed that they were correct and returned the identification to Jiraiya and the others. Then he smiled and said, I didn't expect that the Hokage would send you to reinforce us. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Sarutobi Jiro. I am very welcome to you. I will take you to see Captain Tsukumo. The ninjas of the Sarutobi clan naturally knew Jiraiya and the others. Then I'll trouble you, senior. Jiraiya and the others replied, and followed Jiro to the simple wooden houses. Captain, the reinforcements sent by the village have arrived. They are 3 apprentices of the Hokage-sama. Sarutobi Jiro brought Jiraiya and the others to a wooden house, knocked gently on the door, and spoke loudly. Soon the door was opened, and a ninja wearing a white ninja uniform and carrying a short blade on his back walked out. I didn't expect the Hokage to send you guys here. This is really a headache. Hitaki Tsukumo rubbed his face and said, the border is not stable right now. Jiraiya and the others are the apprentices of the Hokage. If something unexpected happens here, it will be very troublesome. Senior, please don't underestimate us. We will never hold you back. Jiraiya said with a gloomy expression. Jiraiya and the others could naturally understand the meaning behind Hitaki Tsukumo's words. The tone was contemptuous. It is normal for Hitaki Tsukumo to look down on them. After all, he is Konoha's genius ninja, and he is not very old, so he must have the arrogance of a genius. Hitaki Tsukumo was extremely powerful. Not only was he called the terrifying White Fang by hostile ninjas, he was also the leader of the 8 colors of Konoha. Many people said that when he committed suicide, his strength was comparable to that of the 3rd generation. It would be strange if I didn't have arrogance. Hitaki Tsukumo was a very easy-going person in the original work, but as he grew older, he restrained his arrogance, regarded the village as his home, and took the lives of his companions very seriously. It is precisely because of this that when he was ostracized by everyone, he chose to commit suicide to free himself. Senior, fortunately you are not our enemy, otherwise if you underestimate us, you will definitely pay a heavy price. Tsunade immediately echoed. It seems that you are very confident in your abilities, so you will start the patrol mission today. Jiro, you will tell them the patrol mission in detail. After telling them the mission in detail, Orochimaru will be a team with you, and Tsunade and Jiraiya will be a team. Today's patrol mission will be handed over to you. Hitaki Tsukumo said to Sarutobi Jiro. Chapter 39 Eye of Insight. After giving the order, Hitaki Tsukumo returned to the house. Don't worry about it. Captain Tsukumo is just like that. But he has a very good heart and is still very passionate inside. He's just not good at expressing it. Sarutobi Jiro saw that the scene was a bit cold, and said with a dry laugh. Jiraiya naturally knew that Hitaki Tsukumo was not a bad person. If Hitaki Tsukumo was a bad person, he would never commit suicide. He would definitely hold the White Fang short blade and kill the teammates he saved first. If Hitaki Tsukumo really wanted to do this at that time, there would be few people in Konoha who could stop him. Unless the 3rd Hokage takes action personally, even if he can defeat Tsukumo, he will definitely have to pay a price. It can be said that Hitaki Tsukumo is also a person who has been severely brainwashed by the will of fire. Otherwise, he would definitely not abandon the young Kakashi and choose to commit suicide, but would choose to defect from Konoha and then take revenge on Konoha. Our patrol mission is very simple, but it is also extremely difficult. If there are no enemies, just take a walk to relax. If you encounter an enemy, you must fight them at the risk of your life. This place borders the rain country and is far away from the village. These herbs have gradually matured and are extremely important supplies. They are likely to be targeted by people with ulterior motives. The only thing we have to do is to protect the safety of these herbs and wait for the villagers to harvest them and send them back to the village. So patrols are necessary to prevent any enemy intrusion. The area we are responsible for patrolling is the border with the rain country. I will now take you through the area we are responsible for. Sarutobi Jiro said to Jiraiya and the others. Jiraiya and the others nodded and followed Sarutobi Jiro to the border. It didn't take long for Jiraiya and his team to become familiar with the area they were responsible for. When patrolling, you must be careful and never cross the line. Once you cross the line, it is very likely to provoke a war between the two countries. The consequences are extremely serious. You must remember this. Sarutobi Jiro said sternly to Jiraiya and the others. Ninjas can be said to be the army of a country. If they enter the territory of another country at will, it is equivalent to a provocation. If they encounter a tough country, it is very likely that a war will really break out. Of course, it is possible if you enter other countries through formal channels. Jiraiya, Tsunade, you two can go and rest now. I will take Orochimaru on patrol. Sarutobi Jiro then said. Sooner or later, I will knock Hatake Tsukumo to the ground. After Sarutobi Jiro walked away, Tsunade said while pumping his fist. It was obvious that Tsunade was still angry about Hatake Tsukumo's attitude towards them. To be honest, it would be very difficult for Tsunade to pin Hatake Tsukumo to the ground and beat him. Jiraiya, the scenery over there is nice, come with me to see it. Tsunade vented for a few words, quickly adjusted her mentality, and pointed in a direction and said. Jiraiya nodded, and Sarutobi Ichiro took Orochimaru on patrol for a long time. Although the patrol area they are responsible for is not large, they have to patrol back and forth in this area continuously. Tsunade pulled Jiraiya towards that direction. Soon they came to a sea of flowers filled with all kinds of butterflies. The scenery here is much more beautiful than the village. Tsunade said happily seeing this scene. It is indeed beautiful. Jiraiya said as he laid down on the grass and watched Tsunade chasing butterflies. I heard from Brother Orange Water that a war is likely to break out here, and by then these beautiful sights will inevitably be destroyed. Tsunade said sadly while picking up a butterfly with her fingers. Senju Orange Water is also one of the 8 colors of Konoha. He is the second grandson of the Senju bandit and his strength is second only to Hatake Tsukumo. Senju Orange Water is the only Jonin left in the Senju clan. He is extremely skilled in water style and can be said to have inherited the second Hokage's water style talent. However, during World War II, he died under the siege of the land of Earth. Then work hard to become stronger and protect everything you think is beautiful. Jiraiya said. Jiraiya, you are right. We must become stronger together and protect what we want to protect. Tsunade nodded and released the butterfly in her hand. Jiraiya, there is a lake ahead and I want to take a bath. Please help me watch the people around and don't let anyone get close to here. Tsunade has been traveling a lot these days and has been sweating a lot. He has long wanted to find a place to take a shower. Aren't you afraid that I'll peek at you? Jiraiya asked, sitting up. If you dare to peek, I promise to break your third leg, so that you can only watch from now on. Tsunade waved her fist and threatened. Then we walked towards the lake. We are getting closer and closer to our small goal. Jiraiya thought happily that Tsunade's favorability and trust in him were now on a straight rise. Jiraiya would definitely not peek. He could be lustful, but he could never be obscene. Being lustful and being vulgar are two different things. System, extract the rewards from the previous few days. After Tsunade walked away, Jiraiya spoke to the system in his mind. Jiraiya has not withdrawn the rewards he signed in during these days of traveling, and has stored them in the system space. The system is his biggest secret, and he doesn't want anyone to find out. During these few days of sign-in, there is a reward for 7 days of sign-in. This made Jiraiya extremely satisfied. It is an S-level probing ninjutsu called Eye of Insight. After the Eye of Insight is opened, you can see the flow of chakra within a radius of 5 kilometers, and you can also see the enemy's meridians. It is somewhat similar to the Byakugan of the Hyuga family, and its detection ability is extremely powerful. However, the Eye of Insight has an ability that the Byakugan does not have, and that is it is immune to any illusion below level S, which the Byakugan cannot do. It can be said that the rewards for signing in every 7 days are extremely valuable and can greatly enhance Jiraiya's strength. With the Eye of Insight combined with the Sage Body's perception ability, there is almost no ninjutsu that can escape his perception. As for other daily rewards, they are all very common rewards, all of which are some common ninjutsu. I don't know whether the Eye of Insight will be passed on to his descendants in the future and form a new bloodline boundary. Ding dong, extraction successful. The system's voice then sounded. In just a few moments, Jiraiya mastered several more ninjutsu. Do you want to test the power of the Eye of Insight? Looking towards the lake, Jiraiya stroked his chin and thought. But Jiraiya immediately shook his head. He was a qualified ninja and should never use ninjutsu inappropriately. Ah! At this moment, Tsunade's scream suddenly sounded from the direction of the lake. Chapter 40 Enemy Attack. Eye of Insight, open. Jiraiya did not hesitate at all and controlled his chakra to focus on his eyes. Jiraiya felt his eyes warm up and he could see through all obstacles in front of him in an instant. Tsunade was seen standing beside the lake without any clothes on. Above the lake, there were many insects emitting glittering light flying around, which was extremely colorful and beautiful. So big and so white. Jiraiya suddenly felt his blood boiling. Tsunade's extremely graceful figure and skin as white as mud and fat jade were full of temptation. Jiraiya, who was originally nervous, felt relieved. The reason why Tsunade exclaimed was not because she encountered danger, but because she was amazed by the beautiful scenery ahead. Jiraiya was too worried about Tsunade's safety and thought that Tsunade was screaming because he was in danger. Plop! Tsunade watched the bugs on the shore for a while, then stretched out her long legs and jumped into the pool. I'm not peeping. After finding that Tsunade was not in danger, Jiraiya stopped injecting chakra into his eyes. Tsunade's figure is too attractive. If he continues to watch. If things go wrong, you may have to use your hands to solve the problem. As a qualified ninja, he would never do such a thing. It would be a shame to waste it here. His relationship with Tsunade is heating up quickly. Jiraiya lay on the ground and closed his eyes to rest. He had just looked around with his eyes of insight and found no one else. Jiraiya, the scenery of this place is really beautiful. From now on, you must accompany me here once every year at this time. After a long time, Tsunade took a shower and changed her clothes. When she came back, she said to Jiraiya happily. I'm afraid you'll get tired of it by then. After all, no matter how beautiful the scenery is, it will become ordinary if you see it often. Jiraiya spat out the grass root in his mouth and stood up and said. Of course not. You are so diverse, unlike these flowers and plants. They are the same. Jiraiya blurted out without thinking, he is still good at coaxing women. Not to mention anything else, just Tsunade's round breasts are enough for him to play with for the rest of his life. Where did you learn these words from? How many girls have you said them to? Tsunade rolled her eyes and said, but she was quite happy inside. I'm just telling the truth, and you know how high my standards are. I don't even look at ordinary girls. Jiraiya answered again in a textbook way. Tsunade's mouth corners slightly raised. I walked towards the camp happily. The clothes still seal Tsunade's figure. Jiraiya, who was walking behind Tsunade, recalled the scene by the lake. I still look better without clothes. You can cut down trees from the woods over there to build your house, or you can choose not to build one if you want to sleep in the wild. Jiraiya and Tsunade returned to the camp, and Hitaki Tsukumo just walked out of the house and said something casually, then used the body flicker technique to leave and headed towards the border. Hitaki Tsukumo also patrols the border once a day. As the only Jonin here, his perception ability is much stronger than that of Chunin. He was able to detect abnormalities that Chunin could not. What a nasty fellow, Tsunade said angrily. When the mission is over and I return to the village, I will challenge him and I promise to teach him a lesson. Jiraiya said as he looked at Hitaki Tsukumo's departing back. As Hitaki Tsukumo is a genius ninja, Jiraiya wants to compete with him. When the time comes, you'll have to throw a few more punches for me. Tsunade wasn't taunting Jiraiya, because he now admires Jiraiya's strength. Jiraiya and Tsunade did not plan to build a wooden house. They both brought sleeping bags, and their ninja physique was better than that of ordinary people. It is completely possible to spend the night in a sleeping bag. Patrol is so boring. I don't know when this boring mission will end. Tsunade complained. The herbs are almost harvested. It won't be long before we can return to the village. Jiraiya replied. They have been patrolling the border for several days now, and the whole process is extremely boring. Tsunade, hurry up and inform Tsukumo that a large number of ninjas from the Rain Country are approaching this direction quickly. Suddenly Jiraiya's expression changed and he said to Tsunade. While on patrol, Jiraiya used the perception ability of the sage body to detect the faint presence of chakra in the direction of the Rain Country, and then instantly opened the Eye of Insight and looked towards the Rain Country. I saw dozens of ninjas gathering here, and the chakra contained in their bodies was amazing. Almost all of them have reached elite Chunin level, and there are even 2 Jonin. Jiraiya was slightly shocked. The other party must be here for the herbs. And they definitely intended to rob it. Because this group of ninjas is extremely powerful. You have to know that there are only 10 ninjas guarding the herbs in Konoha, including them, and there are only 3 elite Jonin and 1 Jonin. The other party's intention was not only to steal the herbs, but also to kill them all. As for which force sent these people, Jiraiya had no idea. Because they were all masked and dressed in black. Jiraiya, I don't sense anything, are you kidding me? Tsunade asked Jiraiya. Because she didn't see what ninjutsu Jiraiya used. Since the Eye of Insight does not require seals, it will not change when used like the Sharingan and Byakugan. That's why Tsunade was confused. Go quickly, I'm not kidding you, the enemy is very strong. Jiraiya said to Tsunade a little anxiously. Fortunately, he is patrolling here today. With strong sensing ability, he can detect the opponent in advance. If Sarutobi Jiro and Orochimaru were here, they might be killed by this group of ninjas. Seeing Jiraiya's anxious look, Tsunade's expression suddenly became serious and said, You asked me to leave, so you won't leave. I will stay and continue to observe their movements. You don't have to worry about my safety. I have my own way to get out. Jiraiya said to Tsunade. Let's go together. Tsunade said to Jiraiya. After spending these few days together, his affection for Jiraiya grew deeper and deeper. Now Jiraiya said that enemies were coming to attack, so Tsunade was not willing to leave on his own. Tsunade now felt that Jiraiya was very likely going to stay and cut off her connection. A feeling of emotion rose in Tsunade's heart. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.